HusKerrs quote tweeted it and said, "This is one of many reasons why competitive Warzone will always be the biggest joke of a competitive scene. Damn it if we haven't been saying that for 3 years. Can't even count how many times I've played against Cyrus, the guy admitting to cheating, in either a 2v2 wager / tournament or a customs tournament. I'd reckon there's at least another 3 to 5 comp Warzone players cheating that we don't even know about. Pathetic scumbags."
Yeah, I can't believe people spent so much money playing wagers in the past.
For ad-free episodes, as well as early access and bonus episodes, check out our Patreon. Activision devs do not play their own game. By the way, Biggie.
3,000 devs can't figure out how to add a reconnect feature to a AAA title, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, you already did it. Wow. Doesn't tell their consumers anything. Wow.
Maybe that'll take some of the sweats away from Shoot House. Biggie's comment?
You can cope about that.
Yeah,
Thanks for
he had,
tweeting at least. Like,
Joe had
doing
tweeted
what
about
Infinity
that.
Ward has done. They just keep tweeting about the soccer bundles and the
It's
store.
the things that are bad. We've got
Another take from him,
It's another take from a streamer,
This is gonna be
Take
a
from a
longer
guy.
section than the first part you guys heard.
Change it, obviously, of course.
I need a goddamn beer, I'll tell you what, brother.
Oh yeah, did you decide on the seltzers?
Well,
What you're
it's
doing?
12:30 and I'm not even halfway through my spoiled milk latte, so no.
Oh, that'll happen. Did you wake up late or something?
No, just doing a lot of stuff this morning.
Dude, I woke up at like 2 a.m.
That's pretty cool, man.
Well, it is actually, because last night I fell asleep at like, probably like 7. I don't know what time it was, but like I ate dinner and then I laid down, which I usually do. I don't always do it, but sometimes I do. Rested my eyes, as my dad would say.
Fuck, my mom always says that.
I love the cope, by the parental cope, where
boomer cope,
when you're a little kid and you actually give a shit if they're sleeping or not, and you're like, "Oh, Dad, like Dad's sleeping," and he goes, "Resting my eyes." It's like, shut up, bitch. You're sleeping.
Yeah.
Or you're trying to. You're about to be sleeping. You're not resting your eyes.
You should
There's
bring
no
your
such
roommate
thing.
in there right now and tell him to shut the fuck up and tell him you don't
I
like when he
could do
says
that. Bitch slap him. Yeah, I probably should.
Beat your roommate live on cam.
Yeah, well, my name is on the mortgage, so anyway, don't pay it though. Yeah, wait, what was I saying? Oh yeah, anyway, so yeah, I was resting my eyes after dinner, and then if I ever do fall asleep, which happens, take a little cat nap, 30 minutes, 40 minutes maybe usually, I'll just be awake. I woke up and it was 2 a.m. I was like, oh shit, I guess I was
Were you
tired.
like under the covers and everything? What were you doing?
I was Bing chilling, and it was the first time it's been hot enough to run the AC. So my blinds were shut, and I think that contributed. So it was nice and dark in my room. It was fucking cold. Oh, the boy just fucking sailed into an ocean of slumber, dude. It was great.
Yeah, I've turned into quite the napper. I nap pretty much daily now. I don't even mean to. It's just my couch is so comfortable and I lay on it and I can't help but falling asleep. If I'm sitting up straight, I'm fine. But like you slowly start sinking in. Because, you know, we have like an L-shaped couch, so I sit in the corner with my legs out. And the next thing you know, I'm almost completely horizontal and I'm just out. And I don't even mean to.
Yeah, once you get horizontal, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
If you're in your 30s and you're horizontal, it's only a matter of time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not much time, really. What time of day do you nap usually? After lunch, I would assume?
Usually I get a good nap in between like 5 or 6, but they're so quick. They're like actually like what you would describe as a power nap. Because I fall asleep on accident and then I wake up for some odd reason. It's like 15, 20 minutes later. So it's not even much of a nap. I am just resting my eyes actually when you think about it, yeah.
Well, that's, okay. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, they're good for you, supposedly. But yeah, I'm a big nap guy.
They say the best sleep you get is a 10-minute power nap.
Yeah, something about like if you're gonna wake up, do it after like 10 minutes or 90 minutes or 6 hours.
It really is though. If you take like a 2-hour nap and you wake up, I'm just ready to go back to bed. I'm so tired at that point. But you sleep like 10, 15 minutes, you wake up, you're like, oh fuck, and you're all like shocked.
Yeah.
You're like, I fell asleep, and then you have all your energy back in. It's weird. Because science is fake. Science isn't real.
Yeah,
nothing makes sense there.
Is fake, yeah, for sure. And also, is everyone's sleep cycle the same duration? I always found those articles weird. It's like, okay, well, yeah, you want to, like, it's probably true for everyone. You want to wake up after that cycle's done and before this one starts, but like, is that the same amount of time for everyone? And like, I don't know.
Trust the science, weird, though.
But anyway, yeah. Well, we believe in science here. But anyways, welcome to the show.
Believe in the Bible.
Today, we're doing a fun and exciting little broadcast on the news of the week, and more of the social news of the week, the community news of the week, rather than the official Call of Duty news of the week. That's what we do on Thursdays. You know, talk about patch notes, blog posts, tweets from devs, hidden patch notes, which are just discoveries of official information that should have been written down somewhere by a dev, but wasn't. Thanks, Infinity Ward. Shout out to Exclusive Ace and J-God, by the way, on that. But today what we're doing is kind of the same shit, but for broadly the TL, honestly. This is where everyone gets their news. This is the hub. This is the community hub for all the communities on the internet. Really on Earth, actually. So we have a lot we want to talk about today. Actually, not a lot of topics, but there is quite a bit per topic to get into, which I think all relates to the things we as Call of Duty players are likely to be interested in. So we're going to talk about ranked drama, World Series of Warzone drama, and cheaters in Warzone drama. This is a new development. I mean, it's not, but a lot of this is kind of a new development. We haven't talked about it yet, but someone just got exposed for cheating for money. We'll get into it. And that has made a very big stink on the TL. And then in addition to that, in the same vein, we're going to talk a little bit more about the ScummN shit, him getting kicked from his team, and just things in that vein. The SM2 being shut down, X Labs being shut down, and Plutonium on the chopping block, maybe. We're going to get into that as well. I did some research on all of these games, so we have a lot more information now than when we kind of touched on it for the past few episodes. So is Plutonium going to get shut down? We have your answer for you. Don't worry, because there is a thing. It's actually pretty easy to understand once you look into it, whether or not Plutonium will be shut down. But maybe not. We'll get into it. So we're going to talk about that, and then the Apex ranked system and how much of a fucking joke it is. And I think this relates to COD as well.
Playing Apex ranked when Warzone ranked exists.
Well, the reason this relates to COD, I think, is that, I mean, it's pretty obvious. Warzone is a battle royale, and it now has a ranked mode. Apex is also a battle royale with a ranked mode. They are direct competitors. And Apex just totally dropping the ball on their latest season is pretty interesting, and I think Activision could learn a few lessons from it. And I'm sure the devs of Apex, who are Respawn, I believe, have already learned their lesson or are close to doing that, because it's pretty dismal over in Apex ranks, and we have some figures and some data to explain what we mean on that topic. So that is what is on the agenda today. Very excited to get into it.
Yeah.
Before we start, a couple of announcements. First and foremost, Tanner, we played a little bit of Call of Duty yesterday. Is that correct?
We played some COD. Yeah. We recorded a behind the scenes episode. I said Ashika because I'm the Ashika assassin, and imagine playing ranked when Ashika exists. So I'm the Ashika assassin. So I'm like, oh, let's play. Jake was sitting in Discord alone. We hopped in the channel. He was actually quietly sobbing, waiting for someone to join.
Yes,
so we're like,
correct.
hey, buddy, you want to play some Call of Duty? Heads up. Get your head up.
And then he sniffled and said, yeah, meekly.
So we tried to launch our game. We launched Battle.net. It says, oh, Battle.net requires a restart because there's an update. So we restart that, right? Great. We're ready to game. Click on the Warzone button. Launch Warzone. Update requires restart. Okay, we're not quite ready to game. Close out. Relaunch the game. We get in there. We're hanging out. Raz is working on camos because I was rendering. Then I'm like, oh, cool. Resurgence Trios is not in right now. Awesome. So we have to play garbage, shit can, trash quads. So I was like, whatever. So we're at the quads menu. I'm thinking, should we autofill or should we just not, you know? Should we just not? Should we just run
Yeah, very close to just
We were
not.
close to it. We were close. I'm like, oh, fuck it. We'll just autofill. So we autofilled.
Yep.
And I think we...
Well, let me ask a follow-up question. We played for a couple hours. We autofilled.
We played some games.
And we played some games. I think in total, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not, by the way, how many total games did we play?
We played 6
Island
games, if I'm not mistaken.
Quads?
Yeah, we played 6 video games on Ashika Island
We played 6 games. Yeah, 6 video game matches of Ashika Island Resurgence quads with some guy, right? With some guy. And of the 6 games total that we played all day, how many Victory Royales number 1 did we get?
Let me count. Oh, 6, I think.
6?
Yeah.
Wow. So we won every single fucking game we played.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting. That's pretty fucking interesting. So, number 1 announcement, we run Ashika Island.
I'm the Ashika assassin, yes.
And it's that simple. Call me the fucking resort manager, dude. Because I'm just running the island. Now, interestingly enough, and this never happens on Ashika Island, or Resurgence, or any game mode where you random fill. We random filled game 1, and some guy is our 4th. Me, Jake, Tanner, and some guy. And I didn't know his name yet, because I don't care, because you're a random fill pleb fuck. Doesn't matter. And then we win a game, and having the 4th just be in the game until the end, ever, even if you're winning, actually.
Yeah.
Pretty rare. So then Tanner's like, you know what? I'm going to fucking smash the requeue with team button.
Yeah.
He smashes it. And then this guy, some guy, says, sure. I guess. He didn't VoIP this or anything, but...
He hardly talked, actually.
He wasn't a very chatty guy, but he says, sure, in his mind, probably. Requeues with us, and then we win it again. So then Tanner fucking smashes the button again, and the guy queues up back with us again. So by this point, he's been elevated from some guy to our 4th.
Yeah.
Still didn't know his name. Didn't matter. So then we win a couple more games. And by the way, this guy's fucking frying. We're not carrying him.
I think he top fragged maybe frying. 1 or 2 games. Jake dropped a 21 game. I think 1 game I top fragged. Everyone was doing well.
Jake got like 26 one game.
Was it? I thought it was 21.
It was more than 25. He got a brutal.
Oh, really?
He said it. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It was 25 absolute minimum. I think it was 26.
Yeah.
Because he said like, oh shit, I got a brutal. Fuck you, Jake.
Well, brutal.
God, I wish I was
like
his age.
8 kills because it's broken.
I would love to get. Who knows?
He was on
actually.
an 8 burner.
You're absolutely right. Maybe it was
Juggernaut. Yeah.
But anyway, this guy was fucking frying, and he was on the keys, which was an interesting little development.
He was probably cheating. The more I think of it.
We'll get into it. Yeah, probably,
but
not on this guy's. But anyway, yeah. So then we win. I don't know. I'm losing count of how many wins we have at this point. I had to create a spreadsheet to keep track of this. But we've won so many fucking games. I'm in a tizzy. And I voice to the guy, and I'm like, hey man, all these wins we're getting. That's 5. I think it was after our 5th, because 5 is a neat little package of a number. And I was like, hey, 5 wins in a row. You should listen to the Dropshot of Call of Duty podcast. That's the only reason we're winning. And then the guy immediately voiced, and he's like, no way, it is you guys. So evidently, he was probably lying.
Yeah,
this guy listens to the broadcast, but he was saying like, oh yeah, dude, I listen to you guys every week or something to that effect.
He's listened
Which is, on the one hand, he immediately said, oh shit, it's you guys, as if he recognized my voice. So Unless he was just gambling that I was actually the podcast host based on the name, the Dropshot podcast in game. And then like, was like, okay, I'm going to pretend that I know who this is.
Yeah. It was all part of his plan.
Like, I think he actually does or has listened. I don't know how regularly or whatever, but it seemed pretty obvious that he
I think he does.
My voice rather. Yeah.
Because that was game 5, right? And then you were going to hop off. You wanted to hop off. And I was like, we're on a win streak. Let's just play another one. And then even that guy was like, oh, I was going to get off, but since it's you guys, I'll play one more. So Correct. We played one more and won one more.
So we just ran it back. And that was a dicey game, by the way. I think it was just you alive to win the last game, actually.
Was it? Did I win the last game?
Yeah, on the street, like, I think it was south of Castle on the street. And it doesn't matter.
Maybe.
But yeah, I think that was the last game.
I remember the first game was the diciest.
No, there were two of
we
you.
were getting downed often and shit like that. And I was just like, immediately in game 1, I was like, holy fuck, I hate quads. And quads, don't get us wrong, we won 6 in a row. Quads is still miserable, though. Quads Ashika blows. It's really fucking bad.
It was not... Yeah,
it was only good because we had a good teammate.
Yeah, maybe. And this guy, by the way, getting a lot of kills, getting a lot of damage. And he was also like being a teammate. He was running smokes. He stuck he like smoked and stuck a pretty dicey res on me in the middle of a mortar strike. And I was like, okay, yeah, I like that. Mm-hmm. And then we both got out. It was cool. But like, he was actually like a pretty decent little teammate. He was VoIPing a little bit. Not much, but he'd be like, yeah, like, oh, I have does anyone have armor box, or I have armor or whatever. But then by the time we won our 5th game in a row, he was then promoted once again in my mind to Tindersaw, which was his name in game. So shout out to you, Tindersaw, if you actually listen to the broadcast. Good job. You did well. And also, I will tell you once again, as I said in the games yesterday, one of the 6 in a row that we won, all 6 that we played, join the fucking Discord, right? Obviously, because I asked you, that was my first question. You were like, oh shit, it is you guys. And I said, that's cool. Are you in the Discord? You said, oh no. And you said it sheepishly, cowardly, kind of ashamedly, as you should be. You should be ashamed that you hadn't done it already. You should be even more ashamed because you still haven't joined, in fact.
Yeah. I was waiting for him to join. Yep, he didn't. Didn't
see ya. So join the fucking Discord. Duh. But shout out to you. Yeah.
I added him after that game, actually, right before I logged off. I don't know if he
did he add you back, or did he block you?
He probably blocked me, yeah.
Yeah, it's possible. So anyway, shout out to Tindersaw. And let me be clear to all of you listening who are wondering what the point of the story is. That's it.
There is no point. Yeah.
There's no point. No, we won 6 games in a row on Ashika quads. Yeah. So just keep that in mind. That's it. That's the only point.
Lobbies
really
weren't that bad, by the way. A couple of them were burger bot lobbies, but most of the lobbies had at least a couple really sweaty teams in them as well. So it wasn't just... I mean, we were running through teams, but there were some good gamers in there, too. It wasn't just shit cans.
We also had, like, a really good 4th, too, though.
I mean, every single game, like... pretty much all of us dropped double-digit kills. We were dropping high-kill games.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, and by the way, running a Cronin Squall in semi-auto certainly helped me. Holy shit.
I tried it again, and I was just like, immediately... I'm like, I just missed 2 shots. The time to kill is already so much slower. I'm going back to full auto.
Yeah, but it was really good for shooting people out of the air, because they only have 2 plates. So I landed... I think it was literally a 3-shot kill on people floating. And that is pretty goddamn easy to hit, especially when they're floating rather than like diving, you know?
Yeah.
You get it down before they cut their shoot. Or like you're hitting your 3rd shot as they're cutting it. It's too late.
Yeah.
I got a lot of kills out of the air, a lot more than I would have gotten going full auto, I think. Yeah. Cause when they have 2 plates coming out of the air, see ya. That TTK is fucking disgusting. It's so broken. And by the way, someone on YouTube said, oh, I don't think the Squall and semi-auto needs to be nerfed. I read that comment and then played Ashika with it. And I've never been more certain that a gun needs to be nerfed than now. At least the semi-auto configuration, at the very least. So if we wanted to try to salvage a point out of this story, the point would be, I do echo what Tanner said. Quads Ashika, way less sweaty than before Ranked came out, I would say, but not dog shit terrible lobbies every game. There were, in every game we won, there were competent teams. It just wasn't to the degree of sweatiness that there was in Quads Ashika before Ranked came out.
Yeah.
I feel like the very, very top end of every lobby, those players are now gone. They're playing Ranked Warzone. So that means there are still plenty of good players, decent players in an Ashika lobby, but the real demon teams are playing Ranked. That's what it felt like to me. That was the impression I got after winning 6 games in a row of Ashika Island. And I only played 6 games, by the way, Resurgence quads. So,
yeah. Yeah, anyway. It's tough logging on, playing for the day, and not losing.
Yeah, it's hard. It's agree.
Rough. Yeah.
I agree, because you're like, where does it end?
Yeah.
Can he be stopped?
Yeah, there's a lot of thoughts going through your mind. Yep.
And you start to feel bad for everyone else on Earth who plays Resurgence quads.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Because we just ruined a lot of days for people.
Well, you realize when you're loading into your fucking 5th game in a row, winning Ashika Island quads, which I did yesterday, by the way, you realize, it kind of sucks because, like, I'm depriving everyone else in this lobby of a win.
Yeah.
They might be on a win streak,
It does suck for them.
Oops. Oopsies. Yeah. I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here with Tinder Saw. Get fucked, kid. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
So, sometimes you start to feel bad a little bit, for sure.
Yeah, it's, we got to do what we got to do, though.
You got to do what you got to do.
It happens. Yeah. Got to look out for ourselves.
It's what we all signed up for, so. Anyway. Moving on, next announcement here. What we did before winning 6 games of Ashika Island
with Orion, 6 games with Orion.
In a row. With Orion, and I have Orion, by the way. Jesus Christ. Before that, we recorded a Patreon episode for our Damascus patrons, a behind-the-scenes little ep. It ran pretty long. I don't know how long the episode was, but it's out now. So
average,
if you're,
wasn't it? Hour and a half?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't remember looking at the time, but it was it was solid. It was fun. Quite a bit of meandering, which I enjoyed actually a lot. And it is now live. So if you're a Damascus patron, you can go listen to that. We talked a little bit more about our whole fucking behind the scenes business contract, ad spots kind of shit. And also a couple little interesting ideas that I had for going forward and utilizing AI to help grow the podcast. How would you consider using AI to help grow the podcast, Raz? That sounds really interesting. I'll tell you. At patreon.com/thedropshot. Go fucking listen. Because it's an interesting idea, and I think we'll be trying it next month. Yeah. And I'm very excited to see how that turns out.
It's going to be weird having the AI do all the talking for us. It's going to be very weird. The AI is just going to host the pod and we're going to watch. It's weird.
Yeah, it's a pretty sophisticated AI bot that I found, it turns out. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I think that was the most interesting topic in the behind the scenes for most people. But we talked about a lot more than that too. Like I said, we were kind of diving in and out of topics, but the AI discussion went on for a while, and I had some good ideas about what maybe we could be leveraging AI to do for us, and I think we're going to start with at least some of that next month. So if that sounds interesting to you, or if you're a Damascus patron, you can go listen to that now. That is now live, so keep that in mind. And then last announcement real quick, Thavage, and I don't have a lisp suddenly, that's how he spelled his name, Dylan, change it, a new friend of the pod. He joined right after we ended the podcast Thursday. So shout out to you, Dylan, for becoming a friend of the pod, a YouTube member. Very much appreciated. Do it sooner next time, though.
Yeah.
Don't do it right when we get offline.
We almost should not have thanked him for that.
I'm kind of mad you put it in the notes. Yeah.
Yeah. So not thank you, Dylan.
To be honest. So yeah, I take it back and we'll edit this out. So. Keep that in mind. If you listen to the... Fuck! You can't beat me! God damn it, man. You're a son of a bitch, you know that?
Don't care.
You're a real son of a bitch.
I'm gonna go pee and you're gonna fucking
man.
deal with it.
Okay. I just got actually jingle gapped, and I don't like it. All right, boys and girls, welcome to episode 330. Today, running the gamut. We got three big topics we're going to talk about today. Cheaters in Warzone, as well as drama surrounding Ranked Warzone and World Series of Warzone. We're going to talk about all of these spin-off games for COD, SM2, X Labs, Plutonium, many of which, or two of which, have gotten shut down. The third of which is getting nervous. And Apex Ranked and how they ruined their fucking ranked season. So those are the big things on the agenda today. Starting with the ranked Call of Duty drama. So initially the reason that I wanted to talk about this is because, by the way, not that this is any big fucking brain, prediction, but as I did say before Ranked came out, Call of Duty has never been as dramatic as it will be now with Ranked Warzone. Probably. There might have been more drama around the CDL in its heyday during, like, I don't know, MW 2. I'm sure there was plenty of drama between the teams back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one cares though now, so that doesn't matter.
We don't,
because no one cares about the CDL now.
Their viewership's actually like record numbers, but yeah, I mean, we just still don't care.
Yeah, they do. Maybe that's true, but yeah, I actually don't know if Warzone is more popular than like CDL from a viewership standpoint right now, because at Verdansk's Apex Legends, it was definitely more popular than CDL was, like 1,000%, from like a viewership community perspective.
Yeah.
I don't know if that trend has held up though, because you're right, CDL is really popular.
Yeah.
Like I randomly followed like a couple CDL kids when we were doing our foray into ranked multiplayer, like ScummN and I don't know, what's the guy's name? Predator, Parasite, him too.
Parasite, yeah. I mean, Scump does watch parties.
Like 60,000. Yeah, he gets like 60,000 viewers.
I think he gets more viewers than the actual CDL channel at times. Yeah,
he definitely does, because I follow Call of Duty as well, and he has like 10 times as many. Actually, it's crazy. So yeah, maybe I don't know. Maybe CDL is equally as popular. But anyway, the point is, I can confidently say Warzone has never been as dramatic as it's going to be now, and has already started to be with the introduction of a ranked mode. And that's also true because of World Series of Warzone, which is like the events that are not online, or they could be done online, but they're invitation only, basically. Not quite. They're fucking customs lobbies there.
If they work, yeah.
If they work, which is always an open question with Activision. So anyway, yeah. And one of the things I have said is ranked drama is really only good for Activision. And I want to kind of save that for the end here, but I want to start with a little case study. So we've already talked about this. ScummN tweeted on May 21st, "Welp got dropped for World Series of Warzone. If anyone needs a third for stage 1 semis/finals, let me know. At HusKerrs, at Unrational, I'm praying on y'all's downfall, and I hope y'all do absolutely fucking terrible." HusKerrs tweeted the same day, decided to part ways with Scum for multiple reasons, blah, 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 and we'll be finding a new third moving forward. Not sure why he felt the need to tweet this, but I wish him and his future teammates the best in managing his immaturity, negativity, and lack of teamwork. So then ScummN later that same day, tweeted, how am I getting hate when I just got fucked over for $1.2 million, which I think is the grand total amount of prize money that is being offered for World Series of Warzone. It's not like first place gets 1.2 mil. No. Talking about childish, this is life-changing money / opportunity, which is fair. Because if he does well, which that team very well could do, that is like thousands of dollars and a ton of exposure, which is arguably even more important. If you do well, so he's right to get upset for being dropped, but the reason he got dropped is something worth talking about. And then the last tweet he made that day was, feel betrayed in a friendship, feel scammed out of money and a spot in the biggest tournament of the year. Sorry, I'm not the best at controlling my emotions, but I do believe I have the right to feel the way I do, especially when they've been plotting for days.
Just plotting on this guy, huh?
What are they supposed to do? Boot you on a whim? Of course they're going to like talk about it. You can call it plotting if you want, but I mean, would you rather they just like all of a sudden they're like, oh, we're going to drop you. We didn't talk about it or think about it. We didn't plot.
Yeah.
We're just deciding now to drop you.
Dropped, yeah.
So yeah, saying plotting to like make it, to give it that negative connotation is kind of weird. Since then, by the way, I'm not sure what the fuck is going on. Unrational has tweeted since then, I think a few days later, who is one of the 3 on the squad. This guy, like, no one can put up with this guy, but I fucking love him, and it's hilarious, LMAO, or some shit like that.
I think that was Rated that said that.
Was it?
Who's not on his team. Yeah.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Rated is Rated's funny. I was watching, who was I watching yesterday? I think it was, I think Super Soka was playing with him. I think it was Soka, ScummN, and Rated. And it's very funny seeing ScummN and Rated talk to each other. Because it is like that. Like, ScummN's begging for res. He's like, come on, dude, res me. He is very whiny. He's like, dude, fucking res me. Smoke me and res me. And then Rated's like, would you shut the fuck up, ScummN? He's like, I fucking hate you so much. He's like, I fucking hate you. And then ScummN's just like sitting there laughing. He's like, God fucking damn it, man. I hate you so much. But they're like buddies and they're joking around. But it is like, that is actually how ScummN is. So yeah, that was Rated who had said that about no one can put up with this guy but me. But yeah, it's they're a funny little combo. Yeah, but so I don't know where this is at right now, but Chris pointed out 2 days ago in Discord, because I guess he's a avid HusKerrs watcher. I don't know. I guess he gifts him lots of tier 3 subs or something.
He's 45 years old, by the way, for those of you listening.
I don't think he's that old.
Grown ass man with kids, but yeah.
Yeah, gift us some more tier 3 subs instead of HusKerrs. But anyways, he said if you type World Series of Warzone in his chat, it relists ScummN as their teammates. And this was asked 2 days ago. And he said when they dropped him, it had said HusKerrs, Gary, who's Unrational, and an unknown third. And it had no one listed. So he said literally in the last day, he changed it to add ScummN back to that command saying that he's on their World Series of Warzone team. So I do think, and like what Biggie said earlier in chat, supposedly they said last night that ScummN can't be dropped at this point because the rosters, the teams are set. So maybe it's like, I guess they could technically drop their teammate, but they wouldn't be able to even pick anyone else up. So I think they're just going to be stuck like this, which is going to make for some awkwardness for sure.
And yeah, by the way, great job plotting, HusKerrs and Unrational. You didn't bother to check if you could get another third?
How do you not... How do you not reach out to an admin and be like, yo, I hate ScummN, can we drop him and pick someone else up? And they'll say, no, of course not, the rosters are locked. And you're like, okay, fuck, all right, glad we didn't drop him.
And then you just deal with it without making it super fucking awkward. Yeah
I would
love to hear their comms.
That is wild.
World Series of Warzone, dude. That shit is gonna be awkward. And they're gonna do worse because of it. Like, they already obviously had bad cohesion as a trio. That's why they wanted to drop him. Now it's worse. Now it's definitely worse. There's going to be more pressure on ScummN than there would have been before. There's going to be more pressure on the other two as well.
ScummN's doing way
especially
better
if
in ranked
ScummN's
play.
the best one.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because then he's going to fucking, if HusKerrs gets downed or something, he's be like, you fucking dog. Maybe. I don't know. I've never watched him. But, like, you know, you could imagine some shit like that going on. But, pretty funny.
How hard
Pretty
will
funny.
ScummN throw? ScummN won't throw at all, of course. When
He won't
if he
throw, no.
comes down to himself making or losing money, you're not going to throw for that. Of course not.
That's too childish. I don't think he would be that
I mean, there could be
childish, yeah.
something that happens, like, in a situation maybe where it's, like, dicey and ScummN is, like, he's the last one left, and he could maybe get to a buy and buy a teammate back. He may purposely not or something to be like, no, I can clutch this on my own. Fuck these guys. Where, like, he actually thinks, like, I don't need to buy him back. I'm going to do this instead.
Or buy, like, a self instead of an armor box when someone needs place.
Yeah, things like that may happen, but I don't think he's just going to directly throw, But, so I don't know where this is at now. I'm not sure if they're going to come out and, like, say something about it. I don't know, but, dude, HusKerrs is like hard stuck 13,000 SR, by the way. He's just dropping, and he's like ranked 80 or something now.
Really?
Yeah, I had no idea Symphony was that much better than HusKerrs. That's the thing to me with a lot of players, especially when it comes to K-Ban players. You can't tell how good someone is. You really can't. Like Symphony, I always thought he was just flashy and not that good. He's like number 7 or 6 on the leaderboard, which is wild.
Number 1 K-Bam in the world.
To even have
title.
Yeah, it's wild to even have a K-Bam player in Warzone in the top 10 at all. I mean, that's completely shocking to me. So
that is crazy. Yeah.
But yeah, he's
because he cheats.
HusKerrs is like hard stuck 13,000.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That is crazy. That's interesting. So yeah, there are a lot of things like we could say about this. One of them I've kind of already said before, but I'll say it again. This is why being really good at the game is just not enough at all if you want to be successful. And you could extend this to any endeavor in your life. You're not going to be as successful if no one wants to work with you. Like, there are very few things where you can be just a miserable cunt that no one wants to associate with and still be successful. I'm not sure if I can think of anything. I think we probably could. If you're Isaac Newton, okay, if you have like a 500 IQ, maybe, yeah. You're so much smarter than everyone else on Earth that even though no one likes you, you still are like successful or whatever. Sure. If we're bringing this to video games though, and 99.9+% of every other endeavor on Earth, being really good at your job just ain't enough. And that's definitely true with gamers. And ironically enough, it's even more important in the gaming world to have good social skills, precisely because most people in the gaming world that are very good are socially inept. So if you imagine social skills on a 1 to 10 scale, and let's say the average human being on the planet, let's call it a 5. They're a 5 at social skills. They're fine. They're whatever. People don't hate them. People don't love them. They're not charming, but they're not reviled either. I would say the average among gamers, especially high-skilled competitive gamers, is like a 3. The average really good video game player is probably like a 3. That's probably the average. And the reason it's even more important to have good social skills, if you're going to get into competitive gaming or whatever, is because you have to be extra socially aware to get along with people that are lower than average in social skills. So for example, I've worked retail before, as probably many of you have or still do. And that fucking sucks. Because some people, you probably see them every day if you work a full shift, are just miserable socially. And one thing I would like to say I am very good at is getting along with people who are miserable cunts. So I've worked retail jobs total probably like 3 years. I don't know. I'd have to count 3 or 4 years of my life. So I've worked a lot of it. And I've had a lot of fucking FaceTime with customers cringe. And not once ever did I get a customer complaint or any altercation ever. Not even remotely close. I've never even been remotely close to it happening. However, at every single retail job I've had, there was always at least one coworker who was always embroiled in shit, in disputes with like shitty customers. And the thing is, they would justify it by being like, yeah, well, he was an asshole. He didn't say thank you. He was texting the whole time he was paying, et cetera, et cetera. And I would never actually say this to them unless I was very close to them. But the people I was really close to were not this dumb. So never mind. I never said this to any coworker. But the obvious response there is like, yeah, they were acting shitty. I'll grant you that. But you don't have to like be a snide person in response. And in fact, you shouldn't be. It's not going to accomplish anything. And it never did, of course. So like the capacity to deal with these people who are lower than average in social skills, you had to be above average in social skills to navigate that without any choppiness. And I was able to do that because I don't care. I didn't take it personally. And there is kind of there's a way to get along with people that are like pretty fucking weird and pretty prickly. And it's not that hard if you have social skills. But again, among all these fucking gamer nerds, a lot of them are like 3s. So for you to not step on their toes or whatever, you want to be like a 6 or a 7 or something. And this is exactly why. That's the point I'm making here. Because you don't want shit like this happening to you. No matter what happens, whether he gets dropped or not, whether they get first place or not in the World Series of Warzone, this is not good that this happened for ScummN. It's not good at all. They're going to perform worse than they otherwise would, for sure, in the tournament now, if he doesn't get dropped after all. So number one bad outcome here is he gets dropped. And it's only because of his attitude. It's not because of his skill. Number two, he can't be dropped, which is what it looks like now. But his team is going to perform worse than they otherwise would have if he wasn't hard to get along with and his teammates didn't want to drop him. And number three, for World Series of Warzone 2024, it's going to be harder for him to find a team. Fewer people are going to be willing to play with him, meaning the pool from which he can select is way smaller. And therefore, he's going to have less competent teammates for 2024 and beyond, because he now has a reputation for being hard to play with or whatever.
Yeah.
So by any dimension, like even if they win the tournament this year, it's not good. And in addition to that, brands going to be less likely to work with him, going to be less likely to want to have their name attached to him, even if they are willing to work with him. You're going to have fewer advertisers that are going to be willing to talk to you, willing to give you money. COD themselves, Activision, you think this fucking guy is getting care packages from Vundy when Treyarch's new game comes out? Probably not.
Yeah, I don't know if he's ever been invited to anything. HusKerrs was at COD Next, wasn't he? HusKerrs was at COD Next, yes, I think.
I believe he was.
I don't think ScummN has. And ScummN, like I said, he was number one on the CDL ranked leaderboard or the multiplayer leaderboard for a while too. And I don't think he really ever gets invited to anything. Yeah.
Yeah. So And the point there is that it is not enough to be really good at the game if you want to be maximally successful. You could argue, well, he's hard to get along with and he still is successful. You guys are talking about him after all, and he is a full-time streamer. You know what? I'll grant you that. Being really good is going to get you somewhere, for sure. But it's not going to get you as far as you could be, I guess.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. What are your thoughts on all this stuff?
First, do you have a fan or something on?
Yeah, I can turn it
You
down.
should turn
My
it off.
AC kicked on too.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I was gonna say sometimes when you're talking, it's like noticeable.
All right.
Yeah, I think that say something.
Talk. Test.
Yeah, it sounds much better. Okay, cool.
Okay. Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, I don't know. I had a lot more thoughts, way more thoughts on this before it sounds like he's just stuck on their team now. So I don't know. Like the one thing you always see is like, can't believe they would wait until like right now to drop him, like right before the World Series of Warzone. It's like, dude, this shit, like it brews, you kind of just deal with it. Then it gets to a tipping point. You're like, I'm fucking done. You think they want to drop their third teammate right before World Series of Warzone? No, they don't want to either, but they obviously from their point of view feel like they have to do it. So it's like, it's shitty for them too. You're acting like they're also not hurting themselves by dropping him or trying to drop him. So, you know, like to say like, oh, it's so fucked up that he did it right now. It's like, yeah, but you know, if he really was being a prick, and it sounds like he is all the time, then it shouldn't be a surprise. It's probably just got to the point where they're like, I'm not dealing with your shit anymore. Especially now that Ranked is out, I'm seeing how much of a shitty teammate you are. I'm seeing how whiny you are about all this. I don't want to deal with it anymore. So it's probably something to do more actually with the time frame, because Ranked came out and they were playing that at some time. And he's probably just doing shitty things, you know, maybe going off on his own, things like that, not playing as a team. So, yeah. But yeah, he's, let's just say I don't think he's all there. Yeah, I think he's missing something.
And by the way, most of the time when you do have like a shit attitude and other people in your your peers don't want to play with you, it's usually not this dramatic or public, you know.
True, yeah.
There are probably plenty of really, really good pro Warzone players that could be on way better teams than they find themselves on because they have shitty attitudes, but they just don't know it. So, for example, Symphony and whoever the fuck, his friend, some guy, Symphony and some guy who's really good, are like, hey, we should think about getting a third for World Series of Warzone. What about Tanner? Oh no, fuck that. We should not ask Tanner, because even though he's really good, he's annoying, or he's a bad teammate, or he throws sometimes when he gets frustrated, or he stops calming when he gets tilted. Let's ask someone else.
Yeah.
So then in that situation, Tanner doesn't even know it, but he just lost like a really good slot on a really good team because he has a shit attitude. So it's not like it's just him, you know. In this case, it's very easy to talk about because it's all super fucking public, but most of the time it's not going to be. You just won't get picked up. You just won't be approached. People just avoid you. So yeah, it's really important for these people to be fun to hang out with. And at the very least, not be irritating to run with or whatever. And there's going to be more drama of this kind for sure.
More, yeah.
And I'm very excited.
ScummN would full all of his kills and not let either of the guys tag the downs for SR. He did that multiple times the first day they were playing. Yeah. Imagine someone doing that for like 11 hours a day, multiple days in a row. Yeah, you'd get real sick of that. Like, dude, like how, like this, the third time you're told that, you should be like, oh shit, yeah, sorry, I'll start leaving my downs. Like even the last time we played Ranked, me, you, and Jake, I wouldn't even comment anymore. I would down someone, live ping him, and move on. And you guys would just come up and shoot him and finish him off. Like it becomes... you just get used to it like immediately. So if he was doing that, yeah, that's very toxic and stupid.
That's extremely cringe, yeah. Especially because you don't gain anything extra. It's not like he got extra SR for doing that. He's just
in his mind, probably he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get to number 1 before them because I'm getting more SR." So yeah, you're not. It's not like you're gaining more, but you're holding them back from gaining as much as you. It's probably
Which any surprise his team wants to drop him? Holy shit, that's toxic.
I wonder, like when it comes to CDL, if any CDL players in the chat would know, I wonder if someone like Censor can't get back on a CDL team because of his attitude. Because he seems very full of himself. He's been trying to get back on a pro team for like, 3 games in a row now? Can't do it. Always says, this is my year. I'm going to win the championship this year. Can't even get on a pro team. And I wonder if that is related to him having an attitude. Well, it's not even that. I guess it's not even he has a shitty attitude. He just seems so full of himself.
He's annoying.
No, it's just his gun skill. Okay, so he's dog shit. His attitude is the only reason he's still around. Okay. Yeah, he's very annoying, seems extremely fake. And yeah, just extremely full of himself for someone that can't get a spot in the CDL league. Like there's one thing to like be confident, and someone like ScummN before he retired be like, this is our year, we're going to win the championship this year, because there's a good chance. But Censor, the guy's not even on a pro league team, and he's like, this is my year, I'm winning the championship. No, you're not. You're not even on a team. How are you going to do that? You know, there's a difference between being confident and then just being overconfidently stupid, I think. And that's how it seems like Censor is.
Yeah. He just has a reputation for being like the worst CDL player too. And I'm sure some of those guys actually like buy into that. Whether or not it's true, I have no idea. But I don't know about him. But yeah, I hear you on that. Yeah, there are a lot of ways to be not a good teammate. Because in fact, this is usually actually more irritating to me. People who are overly positive or encouraging, or I don't know. That shit gets fucking grating to me. Like if we've lost like 2 games in a row and you're like, all right, guys, we got this or whatever, I just want you to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, good thing I don't think we play with anyone that actually does that. Yeah. Yeah, so there's more than one way to be irritating, definitely, and he could be on the other end of the spectrum. A better end to be on, to be sure, but still not necessarily a good thing. And I'm not saying that's how Censor is. I have no idea. I've never watched him or listened to anything. He could be totally cool, and the only reason he's not getting picked up is his skill. That's possible. I have no idea. But just as an example of, someone like that. Did you ever see his famous trying a burger for the first time video from like 5-6 years ago?
Sure didn't.
I still don't know if that was fake or not. He
sounds fake.
He seems to stick to it, but at the time when the video came out,
Nadia thing too. So
he's a
faker.
Yeah, but
it was fake. Yeah.
When that came out, everyone believed him, but then I think a few years later, people were like, "There's no way he's like fucking. He has to be trolling." I don't know. But yeah, it was a video of him taking a bite of a burger and like spitting it out. He's like, I can't do it. I can't do it. And he claims he's like a very picky eater and can't eat the most basic food. So he's always been a real weirdo. He's been a real weirdo. I don't know what's up with him.
That is 100% fake. If he was a vegetarian his whole life, I could believe that. But he's fucking huge. There's no way he's a vegetarian. Oh,
no, he's just saying he's never had a burger. He eats meat and all that.
But
he said he never had a burger in his life.
I know, but the type of person who eats meat and is also 22 years old and hasn't eaten a burger doesn't exist. Just like Jakin. They're both lying. You're not... The only way you haven't eaten a burger and you're also 20 years old or older in a first world country that's not India is because you're lying. There's no way. You have to be a vegan or vegetarian your whole life to have never tried a burger and be older than 20, especially if you're a fucking bodybuilder like he is. That video is absolute. Knowing nothing about it, that video is fake for sure. And he does do shit like that. Like he did it with the Nadia thing recently. So he's the type of person to make like a cheeky little video and just lie.
God,
for
yeah.
like clicks or whatever.
Dude, time flies. I thought that was 5 years ago. He posted the burger video in 2014. Holy shit. I remember watching it back in 2014.
Oh, damn. It's a long time ago. And by the way, lying about not eating a burger for a YouTube video, not the end of the world. I don't care. That's not like a big deal to me. I don't think there's some huge moral condemnation to make there. But he is lying. Yeah, there's no way. Yeah, there's just no way. So anyway, moving on. What else was I going to say about this? Yeah. Despite the fact that for most people, them having a shitty attitude and it being negative for them is not going to ever be public, this will still, the existence of Ranked and World Series of Warzone going into the future, because the rosters are locked now, obviously, is going to expose a lot of other people who are maybe good streamers or are charismatic, but behind the scenes, they do not play nice with others, and they're going to get exposed, I think, too. Because it's one thing to, like, keep a good attitude and be a good teammate when you're doing like Verdansk pubs kill races or whatever and do poorly. It's quite another thing when there's like rating on the line or a purse on the line and you likewise keep a positive attitude. So the increase in stakes that are now on display or potential is going to expose some people as being bad teammates, like under pressure. And it's gonna be surprising some of the big names that other people are gonna say, I can't play with this guy anymore. And we're all gonna be like, really? Because that guy seems really chill on stream. And it's going to expose some people for being like shitty behind the scenes. And we all know that these people exist. I mean, oh my God, there are a million examples. What's a good one? Bill Cosby, probably the best example. Everyone thought he was a pretty cool guy, but behind the scenes, he wasn't a very cool guy after all, actually. He was fucking, don't say it. Don't say the word, Tanner, because YouTube's very sensitive about that. About that. About E-rap. Yeah.
Should we put a trigger warning on this episode?
No, we won't be doing that. But it's content warning now, actually. Trigger warning's out.
Really?
We don't use that anymore.
Is saying trigger like bad?
I don't know why they did it. I don't know, but I never see it anymore. It's always content warning now.
Wow.
Unironically, it probably is some dumb shit like that. Because trigger warning was perfectly fine, but they all changed to CW content warning now.
Yeah, people are changing things, huh?
Especially them. And by them, I mean woke skull fucking losers that want to crucify everyone for every tiny misspeak or whatever. Anyway. But yeah, like Bill Cosby's the best example of this. Like someone who just got completely exposed and their front-facing persona was wildly incongruent with how they are behind the scenes. I think likewise, with the existence of Ranked and like World Series of Warzone next year, there will be some of that too.
Yeah.
Not that like Scump is a fucking, assaulter or anything. I don't mean that. I just mean like, oh, this guy is actually really shitty to play with, or he's like not as good as we thought. That's another one too. Like you were saying, HusKerrs kind of got exposed as being not as good as Symphony.
Yeah.
For example, because there's a ladder now. And it's not like Symphony's playing way more hours or whatever.
Even if he is, the amount that he's ahead is, I mean, HusKerrs will play hours and not gain much SR. Like when I looked yesterday, they'd been playing like 2 or 3 hours and were, I think, negative SR still.
Yeah, exactly. So like maybe you could argue Symphony has a better team, but like I don't know. I don't think you could argue that, especially in trios. It's probably a skill issue.
I think you could actually. Jakin was saying he was playing with FIFA, who's number 3 right now, I think. And who else? He was playing with Shifty or Soak at one point yesterday.
Oh.
So you could argue that, actually. That
Yeah, maybe you could argue that teammates. Then. Yeah. It was a minor point anyway. But yeah, okay, maybe. But still, I think that's going to be another thing. And then the last thing I wanted to say about all this drama shit is the most important point, as far as I'm concerned, is that this drama stuff is really, really good for the game, unironically. Now, a lot of people hold the position, or they say they do, no one believes it, that drama is bad. You should avoid drama. You don't want drama in your organization. You don't want scandals. You don't want breaking news. And these people are all lying or have not thought about this topic critically at all. It's like, one example, and this is where I think like sports leagues kind of are annoying. They get it wrong. Sort of. I don't know how you're supposed to deal with it actually, but like if an NBA player is like caught doing some scandalous shit off the court or something, or on the court is actually maybe the better example. There was, oh God, I forget the player, but this was in like the 90s, I think. Some guy fucking knocked out a spectator, a fan in the stadium or whatever. I don't remember the details, but I think the ball went out of bounds. One of the NBA players was, I think, on the away team. That would make more sense, but maybe not. I don't remember any details really other than this. The guy was going to go get it. The fan was like probably drunk. Some guy talking shit to a super athlete. And that guy was not having it that day. And he just fucking knocked him out. Some guy who bought a ticket for the stadium. And the NBA was like, oh, you're fucking suspended for the rest of the year or whatever. And they get really mad because they don't want any scandal in their league. But I bet you ticket sales probably went up, or pay-per-view, or they don't do pay-per-view, but like viewership or whatever for games went up after that happened because people were talking about it.
Yeah.
Or when Tiger Woods got his fucking DUI, when he was just like off the scissor, and he got pulled over, and the cop, like the body cam even, or the dash cam, whatever, was released or something. I'm pretty sure the PGA Tour or whatever body fined Tiger Woods or penalized him in some way because it reflects poorly on the golf association. But I bet you a lot more people were watching golf after that because Tiger Woods' name was everywhere, Yeah. And for that reason, that is why all this drama is actually going to be very good. We're talking about it. We were not going to talk this much about World Series of Warzone if this didn't happen, for example. And that is true of all the tweets that you've seen. It's true of other podcasts as well. We're going to get into that in a little bit, that are talking about this stuff. It's bringing way more attention, and it's bringing attention in a way that is quite literally irresistible for human beings as like social apes. Drama is always interesting. It just is. Even if you don't play COD anymore, if you just know of Scump from when you used to watch highlight montages on YouTube 5 years ago when you used to play with your buddies after school.
Yeah.
If you see Scump suddenly on your Twitter and he like beat up 3 women at a club, you're going to click it. You're going to like watch that and you're going to get sucked right back in. So the drama is going to be excellent for every metric that Activision cares about. Viewership for World Series of Warzone, Twitch stream viewership, and by extension, number of players to their game, and by extension, number of microtransactions sold, and by extension, more revenue. So this is all good. This is all good news for Activision. And it's good for us too, because god damn it, again, drama's fun. I didn't know anything about ScummN, by the way, before all of this shit happened.
Yeah.
Then I Twitch Prime subbed to him once I saw his tweet. I'm not kidding. I have the screenshot somewhere. I posted it in Discord. He said, "I'm praying on your downfall. I hope you do fucking terrible." And then I said, "Oh, let me go to his Twitter bio. Cool. Twitch.tv/ScummN. Click. Cool. Subscribe." Smashed immediately. Got him money. And now I follow ScummN and I'm more invested in the World Series of Warzone. So the drama is fantastic. And if you're like one of these people, "Oh, I hate drama," maybe you mean you hate personally being involved in drama, in which case that's fair. But if you're like, "Oh, I don't like to gossip. I don't like to get in people's personal lives. I only watch World Series of Warzone to watch the gun skill." Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
You're lying. You're lying and no one believes you because you're an ape. You're a human being. Of course you find it interesting. It's impossible not to. I think it's actually impossible not to unless you're a complete sociopath or something. But the 99.9999% of people are going to care more because there's drama. And it's fun and it's juicy and it's exciting.
Yeah.
So,
I agree.
Yeah. Anyway. Any thoughts on that or should we move on here?
No, yeah, we can move on.
Okay. Moving on. Speaking of Warzone and ranked play, and I should say more accurately, competitive play, a video came out on Twitter recently. I think this was yesterday that this video came out. And it's some guy named Ripper FPS Change It. And he tweeted a video. He tweeted two videos, actually. One of them's 2 minutes long. One of them is 45 seconds long. And in the video, he said, "Warzone Player Part 1. That's the title of the video. And in the video, you see Discord. It's a screen recording of Discord. And it's this Ripper character in a channel with some guy named Cyrus, I guess. And from what I'm gathering, this Ripper character and Cyrus are friends, or so Cyrus thought. And Ripper is having a conversation with him, and he's recording it. And the Cyrus character does not know that he's being recorded. And then this guy uploaded the videos. Now, what is the content of the video? Well, Ripper is very skillfully extracting some pretty salacious secrets from this character. Now, who the fuck is Cyrus and Ripper, and why should I care? Great question. I don't know who either of them are, but what I do know now, corroborated by a HusKerrs tweet, among others, is that this Cyrus character is, I don't know if he streams at all. He probably does.
Sure he does, yeah.
But he has done a ton of those 2v2 kill races kind of things.
In Caldera,
so he's one
primarily, yeah.
On Caldera, primarily, I guess. He's one of these wager kids, as Tanner calls them. So he has done plenty of 2v2 kill race tournaments. So you queue for quads with your teammate and then the other team, which is comprised of two. And then whichever pair on the same team, as far as the game is concerned, gets more kills in a match, wins. Just kill race. And he was doing this for money. For like United States dollars.
USD, yeah.
Real ass money. And one thing, when this was all the rage back in Verdansk and Caldera, that Tanner and I always said was, how fucking stupid do you have to be to wager real ass money in a free-to-play BR in which cheats run rampant? And then our conclusion was, of course, very dumb. You have to be very dumb to do that. Because these random shit no-name kids, these wager kids who have nothing to really lose, are all cheating, probably.
Yeah, because they're not big, so they don't really have anything to lose.
Exactly.
They're not going to miss their 10 Twitch viewers. They're getting their 10, 15 Twitch viewers. So of course they're all going to cheat. Yeah.
And if they do get caught, they'll just, exactly. They'll just make a new Twitch account. Yep. They'll use a new name, and then no one will know who the fuck they are again. And no one will recognize them. And then, they'll just start streaming again and start over, which is no big loss because they had 10 viewers is generous, by the way. 10 viewers max.
Yeah.
So anyway, in the Discord conversation, what is being said? Well, you could probably guess. This Ripper guy is extracting confessions, and the Cyrus person who doesn't know I don't think he knows he's being recorded.
No, definitely not. They're just chatting in Discord together. Yeah. I don't know why his camera's on, though. I mean, it's kind of weird.
That's the weird part.
They're just hanging out in Discord with the guy's cam on. I don't know. A little
Two guys in Discord just having a casual conversation, and Cyrus has his webcam on. I don't know why.
Yeah, a little weird.
Great question.
That's the biggest red flag in this whole thing. Not that he's cheating. That's so
Maybe
unsurprising.
The whole thing's a psyop.
But the fact that he has his cam on, well, it's just two guys in a channel talking. Little weird. Yeah, not the most normal thing I've seen.
He looks like a cheater in Warzone, though.
He looks like a cheater. It's always those hype beast kids, dude. I swear to God. It's the kids that wear, what's that fucking brand? Supreme. It's the kids that wear Supreme, the kids that are, quote, sneakerheads, which is one of the most annoying terms I've ever heard in my life, the term sneakerhead. I despise it. It is always those kids. Yeah, they're the ones that cheat 100% of the time.
Yeah. So anyway, like I said, as you can probably guess, the guy's talking about how when he was doing 2v2 wagers, he was walling. Some of it's unclear because they're dropping a couple other names of people not in the call that I likewise don't know.
Yeah, I've never heard of any of them, of course.
So he's like the Cyrus dude is speculating about whether or not some other guy he did 2v2s cheated or cheats still. I think he said I think he used to cheat, but now he doesn't, which is fucking hilarious, by the way.
Yeah.
Imagine thinking, I mean, maybe because of Ricochet, that's true.
He cheated in Caldera or something, but not
because he had a change of heart or something. Yeah. So yeah, the guy admits to having cheated a lot in these 2v2 kill races. And the way he was cheating was by walling, which is, as I've said, probably the much more prevalent form of cheater, especially now with Ricochet. But even back then, because it's way harder to get reported than aimbotting. So he admits to walling. And one of the things he said, this is a direct quote. This is almost a direct quote. "I did it because I needed the bread."
That's how the video started. "I did it because I needed the bread." Yeah.
That's how the second video starts, I think. Yeah. Which is, I mean, bro, this guy is sitting in a room with a webcam, a full ass gaming setup, LED lights, an internet connection, a headset, an external microphone with a mic arm, but he needs money? Kill yourself in a video game. There's no way you needed the bread. Whatever dog shit justification you tell to yourself or to your friends does not hold up.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think he had a job, because I saw people saying that on Twitter that he was 16 or 17 and he didn't have a job. So, but they were like, "What do you need bread for so bad, bro? Just get a job." You're 17 years old. You can get any job, any basic job in the world and start making money. Yeah.
It's completely insane. Yeah.
Bread. Yeah. He has to feed his family, dude.
So anyway, HusKerrs, the reason I even saw this video, because I don't follow Ripper FPS on Twitter, nor will I start. HusKerrs quote tweeted it and said, quote, "This is one of many reasons why competitive Warzone will always be the biggest joke of a competitive scene. God damn it if we haven't been saying that for 3 years. Can't even count how many times I've played against Cyrus," the guy admitting to cheating, "in either a 2v2 wager / tournament or a customs tournament." So he's been running rampant. "I'd reckon there's at least another 3 to 5 comp Warzone players cheating that we don't even know about. Pathetic scumbags."
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely there are.
Yeah.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on all this?
Yeah, I can't believe people spent so much money playing wagers in the past.
It's
knowing
so
that all of
crazy
these
to do.
kids were just cheating. Yeah. It's like,
so crazy.
I think it's just like gambling. It's like they can't stop. They're like, whatever. Like I won the last game. I won $300. I'm going to wager again. And they lose to some cheaters. Yeah. But it's like they can't stop doing it because it's like, okay, well, I've won wagers before. I've made thousands of dollars winning wagers. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep doing it. You know, things like that. But yeah, it's yeah, I don't know how many of the other competitive gaming scenes are anymore, how infected they are with cheaters, like Warzone once was. It's not that bad anymore, at least nothing obvious. But yeah, it's just, you know, I wonder how many cheaters are going to be in World Series of Warzone this year, if there are any. You know, at least one snuck their way in there to one of these, to the tournament coming up next week. Yeah. There's got to be at least one cheater in that lobby. There has to be.
The sticky part of it again is that like if someone's walling, it's just not obvious unless you're like watching them for multiple games.
Yep. That's the thing. People will find one clip. Like we brought up so many times last year with Nadia. People will post one clip. Like, okay, if you think Nadia's cheating, go to her stream for, I'm not kidding, 5 minutes, watch her. Immediately you'll see, oh, she's not cheating at all. Yeah, never mind. But it's like people see one clip and they base it off of that. Yeah, so it's like these guys, you have to really watch them for a long time to actually determine if they're walling or not. Because you may see something, you know, shady, and then you watch them a little bit longer, you're like, oh, no, I don't think so. I think that he just so happened to be pre-aiming there. Because that happens all the time.
Yeah.
So
especially with good players because they pre-aim smart angles.
Yeah, plus people also just call cheats on everyone. It's gotten so ridiculous how often people just call cheats now. But, you know, that is actually just the fault of Activision and Call of Duty for letting this game become riddled with cheaters for such a long period of time. It's scarred the entire community forever. I think it's gotten better, but still, it's like, yesterday we're playing Ashika. We played 6 games of Ashika yesterday. We won all 6. Raz and I both have all
of them.
We were playing Ashika. There was like 4 or 5 other guys left. I'm running around looking for kills. I pick up a ground loot gun some guy had died with, his like awful custom MP5. And I see a guy running in a straight line away from me, like 30 meters, and I had an MP5 in my hand, so I'm like, oh, okay. Shoot the guy, down him. He's just in the open running directly away from me. Jake gets the full kill, and then Jake's laughing because he's like, oh my god, that guy was like saying, he's like, this guy's fucking cheating. And it's like, he's running in a straight line and I'm shooting him in my back. It's like people just die in the game now and they're immediately like, this guy's hacking. He's cheating. He has to be. And it's gotten that way because of how bad the game was and how many cheaters there were. All of Warzone is just scarred, the entire player base, and they just always think people are cheating, yeah. Which is why they all think the big streamers are cheating. And the big streamers have so much to lose. This guy, some guy, Cyrus, that's won a few $100 in a wager, has nothing to lose. Like Raz said, he probably has a Twitter account with 1,000 followers. He gets banned or canceled. Guess what's going to happen? This kid, his Twitter account will be deleted. His stream will be deleted. He will make a new name. He will make a new account. If he were banned, he wasn't actually banned.
Yeah.
And he'll just start streaming again with no face cam and a new name, and he'll be doing the same shit again.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Exactly. So yeah, the thing is, it's hard to tell now who's cheating or not because I don't know if Ricochet works at all. So like, I don't know if Ricochet is detecting a lot of wall hackers and banning them. I don't know if it's detecting some and banning them. I don't know if it's not detecting them at all. I have no idea. But at least some people are walling. And like in Warzone 1, this was very easy for me to say. Everyone who is not a big popular streamer, who is a competitive Warzone player, is cheating. I'm not kidding. I would, maybe not all of them, 90% of them. Because here's the thing. If you're good enough to be a pro Warzone player and you don't stream, Why? Why would you not just have a dream job? Because you're too lazy? Because you don't want to buy a face cam or a mic? You have a mic, by the way, because you talk to your teammates if you're that good. There's no world. And in Warzone 1, there was no anti-cheat. As we all know, there were cheaters everywhere. So it was very obvious in Warzone 1. Oh, there's a customs tournament, and some team got third place, and there's like 3 no-names who don't stream on that team. They're all cheating. That's how they got there. Because they were competing against a bunch of other people who are also cheating. Because there's no anti-cheat. And who's going to make it to the big leagues? Cheaters. First, it's going to be the popular streamers who are really, really good. But they have too much to lose, and they would have been caught by now.
Yeah.
If they're cheating. And then after that, who else is getting in? If the game doesn't have an anti-cheat, it's cheaters. It's kind of like a Pride. If you guys are MMA fans, there once was a league, I think there maybe still is, or organization, whatever, called Pride. And I think PEDs, it's actually exactly analogous to Warzone 1. PEDs, so taking buckets full of steroids, was illegal in Pride, but they quite literally never drug tested anyone. So guess who all the Pride champions were?
Drug addicts.
Go look at them. They're the most obvious steroid users to a man that you've ever seen in your life. Like, immediately obvious. What's the one guy's name? Oh, fuck, dude. I mean, it was literally all of them, but there was one guy, Vitor Belfort, maybe? No. There's some Brazilian dude who was just built like a bull. He was built like a male bovine animal. I mean,
little bovine, huh, man?
His traps were like bigger than my head. He was so obviously just geared up. And because they don't test. So even though it was technically illegal, who's making it to the highest, to the championship? The people who cheat. If you're not going to stop cheaters, then cheaters are going to be the number one competitors. So everyone even competing in Pride was on gear, but including the champions, of course, by extension. Same thing was true for Warzone 1. For Warzone 2, it's harder to say because, again, I don't know what Ricochet is doing. I would venture to say Ricochet is doing a pretty good job of banning aimbotters. Whatever their anti-cheat is doing, I have not seen a single obvious aimbotter yet in Warzone 2. I'm not kidding. I literally haven't seen one. I've seen a couple people who I think might have been cheating by walling, but even that's hard to say because maybe their teammate pinged me. Maybe they heard me somehow.
And because we see a 7-second kill cam of that.
Exactly.
And then maybe spectate them for a few minutes.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like I'm not sure anyone's been cheating. I'm sure some people are. I mean, cheats are always going to get through, and I'm never going to blame a video game for that. But the degree to which, I have no idea. So now it's really hard to say when we're talking World Series of Warzone. I do wonder how many cheaters are going to be there, how many wallers. But here's the thing. They're not going to get caught. If they haven't been caught by now, unless Ricochet gets a major update, these guys who are competing and doing really well, who cheat and don't stream, if they haven't been caught by now, they're not going to get caught online in a custom lobby or whatever. Probably. I don't know what measures Activision is going to take to combat cheating online beyond Ricochet, if any. Because one thing they could do is, they could do a million things. We're going to get into that in a second, actually. But if they're not going to do anything beyond, Ricochet, then they'll just win. But then, like people in chat have been saying, once it gets to LAN, if some team has been regularly placing top 10, and there's 2 people that you've never heard of on that team, and then suddenly they get to LAN and they never get top 10, okay, let's do some deduction here. That team had cheaters on it, 100%. So I am very curious to see how this World Series of Warzone shit goes. And if there are names that don't stream, that no one's ever heard of, that are doing well, I'm here to tell you, even post Ricochet, that team is cheating.
Absolutely.
Someone on that team is cheating. Because again, let me be super clear about this. If you're in the World Series of Warzone, you are really fucking good at this game. Better than everyone else you know besides your teammates. And if you're that good also, if you simply turned on a fucking Twitch stream, you would be a partnered streamer, you would have a decent name, and you would be able to make full-time income playing Call of Duty. And also, if you're this good, you're already playing Call of Duty 12 hours a day.
Oh, yeah.
So there's no way that you are that good and not cheating and also not streaming. That person quite literally does not exist. So anyone who doesn't stream or is, if they've like been streaming for a while, but they're just like not popular because they're, I don't know, uninteresting, or they play without face cam or something, sure, they're probably not cheating. But like some people, like if they just say like, oh, I don't like streaming, or I don't want to buy a face cam, or like it was too hard for me to set up, these people are all cheating, because no one that good is going to just pass on a job that they would consider a dream job, which is playing Call of Duty 12 hours a day and not having to wake up for work the next day, which they would have to do currently. So those people will be exposed very quickly, especially just by virtue of that. And then especially, again, once they get to LAN, they will, they'll suddenly do way worse and then they'll get exposed.
Yep.
But yeah, there's just no world that that someone is that good and is legit and doesn't stream.
Yep.
So keep your eyes out for that. And I'm very curious to see what happens there.
Yeah, there will be at least one guy, like I said.
Definitely
that'll
at
get
least
to the
one
LAN
team.
and absolutely be miserable. Yep.
Yeah. Anyways, moving on. Biggie Smalls commented in our YouTube chat. Shout out to Biggie. He said Joe Woe, who is a streamer who does not cheat, was on Pulse Check, which is, I don't know what it is. Don't worry about it. It's a Call of Duty podcast. Saying he thinks they let me actually hold on. It's a just chatting stream. I don't know if they actually upload to RSS
They do.
feeds,
No, they do. And they have a YouTube
they
channel
do?
and everything. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it's Rapulse, who is another like Warzone streamer, very popular, very good. And I guess he made a podcast called Pulse Check, like a pulse check.
It's mostly about competitive shit.
Which is a very clever name for a podcast for him, by the way. I thought that was very cool when I learned it. Anyway, Joe was on this program recently saying that Joe thinks they absolutely should make it mandatory to monitor cam if you're in World Series of Warzone at all stages. So what monitor cam means, what I'm pretty sure Joe meant, is that if you are competing even online in World Series of Warzone, you should be forced to get a webcam and put it over your shoulder looking at your monitor so that you can see if they're cheating or not. And the reason you do that instead of just making people stream is because there are ways to stream gameplay and be cheating, including wall hacking, but the wall hacks won't show on stream.
Yeah.
You'll be the only person to see them. That's why he wants explicitly a literal fucking camera on the monitor.
Yeah.
Because you can't wall hack with a camera pointed at your monitor. Maybe AI is good enough to do that now. I don't know, but no one's figured it out yet. I doubt it. So that's what Joa wants as an anti-cheat measure for World Series of Warzone, even online. What are your thoughts on this?
First of all, you can get around this. There's been multiple instances of this happening. People monitor camming and still cheating. Because what they do, how they get around it is...
To aimbot, they could, right?
No. They just put
you're right.
They just put a camera on the monitor. So Activision, first of all, would have to set, your camera has to be this far away from your monitors and this and that. It's, first of all, they're never doing this, of course. That's out of the question. But So there one guy that got caught one time. He was monitor camming his OBS essentially. So they were watching what the stream would see because he had a monitor cam on pointed at that monitor. But what he wasn't showing was that there's a monitor out of cam to the left, which is the monitor he's actually playing on, and that's where he's wall hacking. So he's like, guys, see, I'm not cheating. I have a monitor cam, and it's just pointed at a monitor he's not actually playing on. That's what the stream would see, which is how you could hide it. I don't know exactly how that works, but they hide it some way. I think it's something to do through OBS, like the way it captures the game, essentially. So there's ways around that too. So this is also just ridiculous. So the thing is, I don't, like you had kind of mentioned a little while ago that there's a lot of things Activision can do to combat cheaters outside Ricochet. I don't think there is. I don't think there's anything else they can do. They have an anti-cheat. What else are they going to do? They're not going to, even if they made people monitor cam, what are they going to do? Have 150 refs be constantly watching random 3-viewer Twitch streams of some guys streaming World Series of Warzone? No, of course not.
I didn't see any of the things they could do would be effective. But there are other things they could do,
Yeah, so that's not going to work. And yeah, what else do they do? That's the best reason for the grand finals being on LAN is because cheaters won't be able to hack on LAN. And they could try. Probably. There have been times in the past, like years ago, I remember some old CS 1.6 Counter-Strike Source LANs where guys would get caught cheating. Because it used to be you'd bring your own PCs to the LANs. LANs used to be entirely different. They'd say, oh, we're having a LAN. You have to bring all of your own shit, though. You bring your monitor, you bring your mouse and keyboard, you bring your fucking tower, you bring all of your games installed. We have a power strip to plug your stuff into. And that was it. That's how the tournaments used to be.
We have electricity for you.
So people could cheat back then, and they would try to do it on LAN, but they would usually get caught. So now, though, the way they do this, they have all setups that you use. You go in, you turn on the computer. It's already on, actually. The game's already launched for you. You just simply start playing. So you can't really cheat on this shit.
Yeah.
I don't know what else they can do online to combat cheating. I really don't think there's anything they could or would possibly do.
Make Ricochet an actual kernel level anti-cheat instead of just lying and saying they have that, because it doesn't sniff your kernels, which I wish it did. But and by the way, I'm kind of kidding. I don't know how that shit works. But again, to me, it seems as simple as, oh yeah, here's the way. What's the fucking game? Valorant. They have an anti-cheat. What's it called, Tanner? Do you know?
Something. It's called something.
It's like a blue panda or some shit.
Vanguard. Riot Vanguard.
Riot Vanguard. Okay. So what they do, they get fucking intrusive. And
they look through your nudes on your computer.
And cumbersome. It's an intrusive anti-cheat. It is a burdensome anti-cheat as well, for the reason I'm about to explain. When you launch your game, you have to have this separate fucking program, the separate executable called Riot Vanguard or whatever. And when you boot up your PC, it starts running. You have to grant it admin permissions, from what I remember, because I uninstalled Valorant because it's a shit game, but I think I installed it I played it before, 5 rounds, whatever. And yeah, when you log into your PC, you have to grant it admin permissions, and it has to be running. And then you launch Valorant, and the first thing the game does is checks to see, it sniffs your kernels, looks through your task manager, and says, okay, is Vanguard running on this PC right now? If it is, great. If it's not, they say, not only do you have to start running Vanguard again before you can launch Valorant, you have to restart your fucking PC to run Vanguard again, to play Valorant. So if you played a game and then you got off and then you exited Vanguard in your task manager, you killed the program or killed the service because you wanted to free up, I don't know, RAM to do something else. And then you go to launch Valorant again, you can't. If you launch Vanguard again, you still can't. You have to restart your PC. That's how intrusive it is. And that's how annoying it is. But guess what? Valorant does not have a fucking cheating problem.
There was there are not cheaters in that game, from what I've heard.
Yeah,
they basically don't exist.
They get caught. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they have a deeply intrusive kernel sniffing. The United States government, frankly, would be proud of Riot Vanguard. It gets all up in them guts.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's looking at every single solitary goddamn file on your PC.
No, yeah.
And that is one thing that Ricochet could and should do, especially for ranked play. If you think that's too cumbersome for your casual shit video game that you want to sell microtransactions in and that you would lose too much money, you know what? I kind of agree with you. Fine. Don't make people run it for pubs or anything. But if you go to launch ranked multiplayer or ranked Warzone, now you have to have that program running. And if it's not, restart your PC so we can get in the kernels. I think for ranked exclusively online, there should be something that intrusive and therefore that comprehensive and therefore that effective to be able to play the game. That's what I think. And I think everyone who plays ranked should be on board with this. Oh, but it's annoying. I don't want to have to restart my PC. You put up with update requires restart, which is more insane, and you get nothing for it. Wouldn't it be nice to have to every once in a while be forced to restart your PC if you want to play ranked? If you could then know that in every game you play, no one is fucking walling ever or aimbotting? Because I would certainly take that. And I think most ranked players would too. And it's not like Activision does not have the resources to be able to do this. So if they wanted real competitive integrity, that's one thing they could do. Now, obviously, they're not going to design a program such as this just for the World Series of Warzone. If they were going to make the program at all, they would probably make it for every ranked mode at a minimum, and then probably also use that for the online World Series of Warzone shit. This is never happening, though, because I think they would have done it by now. I think they would have started with it this way, because it's not like they did not consider this option. When Activision was researching how to have an anti-cheat, it's not like this didn't come up or slipped their mind. They're a multi-billion-dollar company. It occurred to them, and it was on some guy's desk or girl or whatever, and that person said, "This is too aggressive. We're not going to get that."
Well, yes, and people say that about Valorant, says it's too intrusive. Because that's like...
And those people can go fuck themselves.
Because, like, you know, the Valorant anti-cheat, they'll tell you to, like, oh, it doesn't look at your, like, private files, I promise. Like, it doesn't, like, get any of your info. There's no way it doesn't, first of all. If there was some sort of data breach, someone would have access to all that information. That's absolutely true. Don't listen to what they say. If something is on your PC... scanning your task manager, scanning your network packets is what I've read too. It can see fucking everything. Don't act like you can't see the shit on my computer. Like what? Just because you're not using it doesn't mean you can't see it. Yeah, so that's just insane.
Yeah, exactly. They see all of it. Valorant's probably not using that information for anything.
They could have access to it though if they were hacked, essentially.
Yes, yeah.
Or if they wanted to, yeah. Yeah, that was probably the reason Activision wouldn't do something like that, is because they think they would get backlash because of something so intrusive. And then also it could be something to do with our anti-cheat doesn't work as well because crossplay exists. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not sure if that would have anything to do with it loading PC players into the same lobby as console players. There may be something in the back end, the way the engine works or something that's a great point. They can't have certain things because Valorant, of course, is like KBAM only, PC only shooter. So the fact that all these COD kids now always say, when you just go back to console, this is like ridiculous, like PC's ruined competitive COD. There are not cheating problems in other video games like this necessarily. Like again, Valorant is only on PC. There is zero cheating problem. It's non-existent. So there are ways around it, but you know, will we ever see it? Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, because again, if they were going to do something like that, I think they would have done it on launch.
That would have how the anti-cheat worked, from the get-go.
Yeah, which is a shame, but whatever. again, to Activision's credit, cheating is certainly not as bad as it used to be. I can say that with certainty. Yeah. So Ricochet is doing something, which is good, and they deserve credit for that. But is it doing enough? No idea. What else was I gonna say? But yeah, beyond that, reasonable things Activision could do to combat cheating in the World Series of Warzone online specifically. Yeah, they could have, like you said, though, they're not going to have 150 refs. Like, they can't. That's way too expensive to hire people to, like, be watching each stream. And again, it would be streams. So, like, it would be hideable. You would have to have every single competitor give remote desktop access through something like TeamViewer to 150 separate individuals who would then remote into your computer, control your mouse, open your task manager, and your files probably too, which is more intrusive than fucking Valorant anti-cheat. I don't want some fucking COD dev opening my folders, you know, and no one would want that. It's certainly not these terminally online Warzone players. And they would have to like keep your task manager open or something. Yeah. Like throughout the whole multiple matches or whatever. And that's, of course that is wildly unrealistic.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. There is nothing else realistic. Like, you could think of something, I'm sure, that they could technically do, but not really, no. There's nothing they can do besides have an anti-cheat,
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, good idea, Joe. And, you know, however, there is an argument to be made that even though it would still be possible to get around the monitor cam solution that Joe proposed, it might... I don't buy this argument, actually, but someone could argue, well, it would be annoying enough to where some people who would cheat wouldn't want to do the extra work to get around the monitor cam, and therefore there would be one less cheater in that scenario. But I would say, if someone's going to cheat in World Series of Warzone, if they can get around it, they're going to. There aren't going to be lengths to which they won't go. So they'll research, how do I do the thing that Tanner was talking about, and then they'll do that. It's for a tournament of that size, they will go to any extent to get around it. So yeah, I don't think there's anything realistically they could do. So they might as well not even bother with the monitor cam thing. I think I agree with that.
Yeah.
And by the way, unless Joe is an Academy Award winning actor, that's one example of how you know that he's probably not cheating, because a cheater would know that you could get around something like that. So they wouldn't even propose that solution.
Yeah, of course not. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, and it's obvious Joe doesn't cheat, by the way, unless you count PEDs, or controllers, performance enhancing devices.
Yeah, a lot of people cheat.
And then that leads me to another interesting question, because I thought of this listening to the Cyrus kid in that Twitter video that we talked about. He was talking about some guy he played 2v2s with, and he wasn't sure if his teammate was cheating or not. And that got me thinking, if you have a teammate who is a cheater, but you yourself are not cheating, I think we all agree that that would be cheating also.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. To what extent is that person, the cheater's teammate who is not cheating, responsible for that happening?
You get temporary bans, which they don't do in this game. You're either shadow banned or you're perma banned or you're nothing. But I would say an account playing with a known cheater multiple times should get a 30, 60-day ban, which again, in a free-to-play Warzone doesn't matter. You just make another account. Sure, you have to level up all your guns. It's annoying, but they're not going to not play during that time period. I mean, that's what Tarkov does. If you play with RMTers, you'll get banned. So the RMTer will get perma-banned which is the guy essentially. There are RMTers online. You go to a website, you pay for a carry service, you pay real money to some guy. He loads into a match with you. He has cheats, so he sees all the good loot on the map. He takes you right to the loot. He kills the other players because he's cheating. He says, all right, come on in. It's clear. Here are 10 lead X's I found in West 301. And he drops them all for you. You guys go extract. You get a bunch of loot. People pay real money for that. So what happens in those situations? Real money trading.
Okay.
So that guy gets banned, perma-banned, once he's caught, and the guys purchasing the RMT get temp bans for like 30 days, 60 days. Their account will be not accessible, and then once that ban is up, their account was also reset, and they're back at like level 1 again.
Oh, okay.
But this game has nothing like that. Yeah, you're either shadowed or you're perma-banned. Yeah, but I think, I mean, that was another drama with ScummN, is he was at the center of attention 3 weeks ago, maybe.
Bans. You're right. 3
weeks ago or so, because he played a few games with cheaters, and he knew they were cheating because he was in a game with them or something, playing against them. They were cheating. He joined their lobby and he played 2 or 3 matches with them, and then someone called him out. They're like, ScummN's playing with actual like cheaters right now, and he's queued with them in a party, see? And then ScummN was like, oh, like, I can't beat him, so I just joined up on him just for a few games. God. It's like, you're a fucking idiot. So people defending him for that, you're cringe. That is not something you should be defending him for. Do I think ScummN should be perma-banned or even temp banned for that? No, not really. He played 2 games. But don't act like that's not a big deal. That is the exact attitude as to why there have become so many cheaters in video games, because everyone does that same bullshit excuses. Oh, this guy's cheating, I'm going to cheat too, or oh, I'm going to join him. That's why Tarkov is so plagued with cheaters. I see people post that all the fucking time. There's so many cheaters in this game that I'm thinking about just cheating now. And you are the reason it continually gets worse, because you cheat, you kill someone else, they start thinking that maybe I should just cheat too. And it's a constant process. And so that also goes to show you how incredibly naive ScummN is as a person and how immature he is to have that attitude. But he's a stupid fucking 19-year-old kid or whatever he is who doesn't know any better.
Yeah.
He has a pretty dumb
beat him, join him attitude
is an insane
really
argument.
Stupid.
I despise that. Yeah.
It's really stupid. Because, like, yeah, did it ever occur to you that the cheater you just got killed to is cheating because he also said if you can't beat him, join him? Did that ever cross your mind? Yep. And like, maybe it did, but it's like, and the biggest thing to me, even if I did buy that argument, the thing for me is like, if a game is full of cheaters and the only way I can compete is to start cheating myself, I'm not going to have fun anymore if I'm cheating.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not if you can't beat them, join them. It's if you can't beat them, fucking uninstall the game. That's what we did.
Yeah. Also, ScummN was number 1 for so long, and then he had used that argument like, can't rank up, can't gain SR because I'm constantly queued against cheaters because the game's filled with them. Yeah, that sucks. I agree, but I don't know. Don't grind for number 1, I guess. Then what else are you gonna? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Teaming up with cheaters is not the answer to that at all. You're just adding to the problem, and that's just an extremely immature. It's something he would do, obviously.
Really dumb. Yep. Yeah, really dumb. So then the next question is, let's say like, I don't know, whatever. HusKerrs HusKerrs gets outed and he's been cheating this whole time. And he's on a World Series of Warzone team with, what's the guy's name? Unrational.
Uh-huh.
And Unrational is a legit player as far as we know. And then Unrational says, hey guys, I'm shocked by this news. I had no idea HusKerrs was cheating. Sorry. Do we believe him?
No. If you play with someone for as long as they played together, especially, no, you don't believe them.
You would know, right?
Yeah, of course you would.
I think you would too.
You would, yeah.
I don't think that excuse would hold up. Obviously, if you play for like a day or like a week with someone and they are cheating and like you don't know, that like fine. But like when in Vanguard, when there was that whole controversy where like everyone in the top 100 ranked multiplayer players was cheating,
yeah,
except for like 3 people. and those 3 people each all played with all cheaters every single game up to that point, Activision correctly reset all that rating for every single game they play with cheaters. And I think some of those people who were not cheating but were playing with the cheaters tried to say that. Like, oh, holy shit, my best friend, Taco Tim, who I play Vanguard ranked with for 8 hours every day for the past 4 months, was cheating. Surprised Pikachu face. I had no idea. Yeah, go fuck yourself. Yeah. There's no way you play with someone that long.
Yeah.
You spent way too much time communicating, spectating them, etc. to be able to play dumb in that case. Yeah. So I think you do really always know if you've played with them for any significant amount of time. So
yeah.
Okay, so moving on to our next little topic here, which is SM2, X Labs, and Plutonium. So we're going to have less to say about this and our other section than the first section here. Frankly, because it's been 2 hours, but also we had less to say initially anyway. So, yeah, keep that in mind. But still, there are a bunch of third-party Call of Duty modded games or whatever the fuck that have been falling like dominoes lately. And this morning, I looked into more details on all of it. So SM2 was the first one to get a cease and desist letter from Activision, and they complied. And I want to give you a little timeline. So in April of this year, late April, SM2 tweeted this. After a lot of internal discussion, we have decided to move from IDub 4, which is the original Modern Warfare 2 engine, to H1, which is the Modern Warfare remastered engine, mainly for technical reasons. So why does that matter? Why is that important? Well, as someone on Reddit said, and Exclusive Ace also said this, for whatever reason, them moving from the IDub 4 engine to the H1 engine made it such that to play SM2, players no longer needed to own a copy of a Call of Duty game. So basically how this works is, when they were on the IDub 4 engine, you could play the modded SM2 game, but to do that, to like log in or whatever, you had to have bought Modern Warfare 2 or one COD game, probably Modern Warfare 2. So Activision is still getting their piece, because if people want to play the modded game, they still have to buy the box, which is all Activision cares about, especially as far as MW2 goes, because there's no microtransactions in the original Modern Warfare 2. So once they get your money for the box, they don't give a fuck about you. They don't care if you play at all, like a minute. So there was no incentive really, financially anyway, for Activision to shut down SM2 at this time. However, again, late April, they switched to a new engine, and for whatever fucking reason that I don't understand and I'm not going to get into because it doesn't matter, for whatever reason, to play on the new engine of SM2 that they switched to in late April, you no longer needed to own a copy of a Call of Duty Activision game to be able to play it. In other words, you could play it without Activision getting any money. In 3 weeks after that switch to the new engine, SM2 received a cease and desist letter from Activision, and they shut down all operations immediately. It took Activision less than a month after this switch to where they were getting a piece to when they weren't, for them to shut that shit right the fuck down. Now, Exclusive Ace in his video, when we originally talked about this, said as much. He was like, yeah, it was no surprise to me that this was going to happen as soon as they made the switch to this new engine, because Activision was no longer getting a cut. That's pretty crazy how fast that happened to me. even if that is the reason that Activision decided that then was the time to shut it down, 3 weeks later is fast. That's really fast, especially to get your lawyers to send a cease and desist and shit. That's pretty wild. So that's the story of SM2. That's the timeline. Could it be a coincidence? Maybe, but maybe not. So let's move on to, so SM2 is dead now. Moving on to X Labs. That was the next one to go. This is the most recent shutdown of a third-party COD game. They tweeted on May 22nd, today, we have received a cease and desist letter on behalf of Activision in relation to the X Labs project. We are complying with this order and shutting down all operations permanently. And evidently, X Labs was played on an engine called iDub4X. And this is, according to some article, a standalone Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer package developed by the team over at X Labs. Installation of iDub4X is a breeze, whether you own Modern Warfare 2 or not. So unlike SM2, it's possible that you never needed to own an Activision product to be able to play X Labs. I don't know if that's true, but it's certainly true that at the time they were served with a cease and desist, they likewise did not require you own an Activision product to be able to play their game. And then they got a cease and desist. Is any of this surprising? Not really.
No.
Frankly, what I find more surprising is that SM2, even if they did require a box, didn't get shut down. Frankly. But moving on to the third one, the big one, Plutonium. So this is, again, as we've said, it's the only of these types of games that Tanner and I had ever heard of.
Yeah, I had never heard of X Labs or SM2 at all.
Yeah,
not once.
Me neither.
I heard those.
And I had heard of Plutonium. So on that basis, it seems like Plutonium might have been the most popular one. Maybe not. I don't know. But it is still operational. They have not received a cease and desist letter. 3 days ago, they tweeted, Plutonium tweeted on their Twitter, "In light of recent events, we are trying to show good faith where possible. We would like to inform you all of our intention to add ownership verification to our supported games to ensure players and server owners are using authorized copies of the games. More info to come." Meaning, Plutonium is trying their best to make sure that everyone that plays it gave Activision a cut because they're afraid of getting shut down by Activision.
Yep.
And their thinking is, if we ensure that Activision is getting their cut, Activision will not force us to shut down. Will this work? I don't know. We have a little more information here, Tanner, if you want to tell us about it. I hear like a rustling outside. I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah, this is straight from the Plutonium website. So again, they post that update saying they're going to add a verification, so they want you to actually own the game. But on their website right now, it's talking about... So I guess, again, we don't know much about these. I never played any of them because they would be fun for 3 hours at the most. Max. So I guess they have their... Plutonium is the one that has like a Black Ops version, like a Modern Warfare 3 version or something. So this is talking about how to install the Modern Warfare 3 client. This is from their own website right now. It says installing the base game. This section will cover downloading a free copy of MW3. Please skip this section if you already have a copy of the game. Yeah, so right on their website, they're telling you, oh, here's how you get a free version of the game. Hey, maybe take that down from your website too.
For sure.
You may want to take that down like a week ago when you, or 3 days ago when you tweeted out what you did. Then they say, please note, we highly recommend buying the game if you do not own it. If you enjoy a game, you should support its developers. So yeah, so even with Plutonium right now, they tell you right on their website a way to get MW3 for free, which if you go on Steam right now, I would assume MW3 is probably still $39, $49, something like that. So, but they're giving you a way to get it for free, which is not a great look for, for free-to-play launchers and engines right now, basically, that are getting shut down because they're using Activision assets. without purchasing the game.
Correct. Yes. So one of the things, so people are obviously very mad about SM2 and X Labs, and they're very worried for Plutonium. And there are, I think, two questions we can ask. For things we can say. One thing people have been saying is, it sucks that Activision is doing this, because if you want to play an old COD game online, it is quite literally unsafe to do it officially, which is true. We talked about this a couple weeks ago, pretty recently. There was a big hubbub about, what, I don't know, Black Ops 2 or some shit. The official game servers, the official ass game, that had a massive like security hole in it. And essentially people were getting hacked because they connected to Activision's own servers in these old games that had insufficient security.
Yep.
And it was like a really big deal, and people could get all of your information just by virtue of you connecting to the game.
Yeah.
So one thing people have been saying, and they are annoyed about this, is that they're like, Activision, if I want to play original MW2 online, I can't do it using your game because it's unsafe and I'll get hacked. So my only option is to use X Labs. But now I can't use X Labs. So you're effectively just not letting people play your old games online anymore. That was one of the big criticisms that we frankly glossed over, didn't even think about, which is actually a fair point. Because originally we had been saying like, yeah, it kind of sucks Activision's doing it, but of course they're going to do it. Ultimately, that's still where I stand, but I was a little too flippant because that's a good point. Now, I would also say, stop playing 20-year-old games online. Get with the fucking times, honestly. As far as I'm concerned, if you want to play BO2 online, you deserve to get your bank account hacked. Oops.
Is that so? Yeah.
Yeah, play a new game. I don't know. Grow up. But also, like, I would hope Activision is going to plug up those security holes soon. I don't know if they will,
I don't. It's been this way for years, so no, I don't think so. Yeah, like this article that I have here from Sportskita. It talks about Plutonium Project currently has clients for older COD titles, including Black Ops, Black Ops 2, MW3, and World at War. The mods clients allow players to play these titles without the risk of them losing their personal information. Currently, in these older titles, without the Plutonium mod, you log into official servers, they will come across many cheaters. The security in Activision's official servers for their older COD titles has not been updated for several years, allowing cheaters to get players' IP addresses, inject viruses into their PC or console, and carry out other
fucking keyloggers,
dangerous activities. Plutonium circumvents such problems by having its own anti-cheat system that bans cheaters instantly and does not let them run rampant in matches. Furthermore, the mod also provides players with more features such as dedicated servers, a built-in friends list, and additional content including guns and maps.
Yeah. So like that point that people are raising that we kind of scoffed at is a fair one.
Yeah.
Again, though, what I think the real solution is, if Activision is done updating the security for their old games, they need to take those servers offline. And like, hey, if you want to play 2008 MW2 online, be older and have played it when you were a kid, because it's done now.
Yeah.
We're shutting down the servers. This is what happens all the time with a bunch of online games.
I'm very surprised.
MMOs, they shut down the servers. They don't let you just keep playing it forever. They need to shut down the servers, probably reduce the box cost by $20 so you can still play the campaign or whatever the fuck, which they'll never do, but this is what they should do. And then call it a day. Because I don't think Activision is obligated to continue to allow players a way to play online 20 years later or 10 years later. safely.
I wonder what the legality is there. Because that is...
Well, games shut down, so...
Because that is what people say. Like, one of the arguments is that on Steam, you can buy these titles, and nowhere on there does it say anything about, like, oh, you can download this and play online, but you're gonna get your computer hacked. So that's what people complain about too. Is like illegal. They're selling full prices of the game online, knowing damn well every server you connect to, it's just full of just rampant cheaters and people stealing your IP address and hacking you and stuff like that. And that I do understand. Like, okay, yeah, that is that's pretty shitty. But I don't. I mean, can I see Activision updating any of this shit? No, of course not. I can't. I wonder if BO4 has almost gotten to this point yet.
True.
This will make me never launch BO4 again, by the way.
Actually.
Just being scared to do that. And this is a great thing about having dedicated servers too, is I think that would get around the issue, I would assume. Call of Duty 1, Call of Duty 2, Call of Duty 4, they used to play on PC. All those games have always had dedicated servers. You connect to whatever server you want. The other great thing about that is you could join modded servers that way. So people would have zombies and these special mods, and it says in the title what it is. You click join the server, and the game starts downloading that pack that some random guy had created and are now in your game files, and you just start downloading it. Takes a minute or so to download the files. You're into the server, and it's like playing a different game because it's like some standalone, custom-created zombie mode essentially in Call of Duty 4 with new maps, different lighting, and that's the great thing about dedicated servers.
Like a spitting squirrel.
Yeah. But I think they got rid of dedicated servers before crossplay, but I think crossplay also probably in some way killed off dedicated servers too.
It was the nail on the coffin.
Because I've never seen. I mean. Maybe there were console games that had dedicated servers, but I wasn't a big console gamer back in the day, so I don't really know. But I don't think they did. You just hit play game and you selected your mode, whereas like back in the day, I mean, Battlefield was this way. Battlefield was this way up until like, I think before this title, they were still dedicated servers, and then they got rid of them now too. I don't know what the reasoning is there, but yeah.
So then the next question is Plutonium next? Because as they've tweeted, rightfully, they're worried about Activision sending them a cease and desist. And a lot of the speculation, like Exclusive Ace and shit said, is that the reason the games that have gotten a cease and desist have gotten them now is because there are ways to play Activision content without giving Activision money. So Plutonium is in this camp, and that's why they want to add an ownership verification feature so that they can circumvent that. Is that the reason Activision is shutting these games down? Probably partially, but ultimately no. Is Plutonium going to be shut down? Absolutely yes. They are 100. Well, I don't know if they're going to get shut. They'll get shut down. They will be receiving a cease and desist fairly soon.
Yeah, I'm surprised it hasn't already happened.
Yeah, and there are two reasons why. Number one, even if they say they want to have ownership verification, they don't right now, and you can play Plutonium without giving Activision money. So if that's the reason Activision shut down the other two, Plutonium is in breach also, and they will be shut down for that reason. If that's not the reason that Activision is shutting down the other games, then Plutonium's getting banned either way. And even if they did add ownership verification, that's a weird thing to say, and I don't know what that means, but that sounds to me different than requiring someone to own the game. In other words, you might be able to get around an ownership verification system, whereas maybe you couldn't get around running on the iDub4 engine like SM2 or used to, or whatever. So like Activision might be like, cool, Plutonium, that you have this ownership verification system, but why the fuck are we going to trust you to like do this rigorously enough for us? We're just shutting you down. I don't care.
Yeah.
Because if it's possible to circumvent your verification, then we won't be getting a cut on those portions or whatever. But again, like even outside of that, there's they're going to shut Plutonium down pretty soon. Mainly because it says even on Plutonium's own fucking website, you can play for free without giving Activision money.
Yeah.
So even if that's the only reason, then Plutonium's still getting shut down because you can play it for free.
Yeah, and as this article points out too, Plutonium Project uses Activision's intellectual property, customizes it, and allows players to access it without the publisher's permission. Legally, Activision is fully in the right to take down such a community mod.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. And by the way, even if it did require Activision purchasing an Activision game to play these things, I feel like Activision would shut them down either way. Because big companies like that do not want to be associated with third parties that they don't have complete control over. Because what if Plutonium, let's say you did have to buy an Activision game to play Plutonium, and there was no way around it, and Activision was confident that that's true. Let's say Plutonium's account manager for their Twitter gets hacked, and the hacker is like a 4chan troll who starts spamming the N-word and pins the tweet and then has a bunch of pictures of swastikas. Well, now Activision is in some way associated with this brand. And the hack happened because Plutonium is not under direct Activision control. So even if they were getting money from this, why open themselves up to that kind of liability for a couple pennies as far as Activision is concerned? Because how much money is Activision getting from Plutonium existing? How many people are going to buy the old MW3 who wouldn't otherwise because Plutonium exists? Couple thousand? 10,000? Cool. That's what? Let's say it's $60. That would be 600 racks? Cool. Activision makes more money than that every single day with microtransactions. Why bother? They would rather just shut it down. And by the way, have we forgotten that Activision has shut down Fortnite's creative mode when people recreate Call of Duty maps in that game a month ago? Why the fuck would they do that? For any reason other than because they can. Mm-hmm. So of course Plutonium is getting shut down, no matter what. I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet, but I'm guessing inside of a month, see ya. If you're a Plutonium fan, sorry, get fucked though. There is no way Plutonium is going to be allowed to continue running, especially because you can still play it without buying an Activision game.
Yeah.
That's like the real nail in the coffin as far as I'm concerned. There would be some doubt if you had to own an MW COD game to play it. But since you don't, there's no doubt in my mind. It's getting shut down. What do you think?
Yeah, I thought it would have kind of happened already. You'd think they all would have been shut down or received the cease and desist around the same time. But yeah, I don't know. It seems to be like they will get shut down.
Was still very recent, though. It was 5 days ago that they tweeted they got the letter. So it's not like it's been very long.
Yeah, I mean, I guess before that, it was 5 days before that, the SM2 had gotten theirs. Yeah, I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised if it came in Monday. Because on a 5-day average, today's Saturday.
Yeah, my biggest thing is
weekends, so.
There is so much outcry for this. And first of all, none of these people complaining ever played it. That's why I kind of just don't care that much, because I never played any of these. So I'm like, whatever. I'm not going back and playing a 15-year-old Call of Duty game now. They're not fun for long. But aside from that, it is obviously well within Activision's legal right to do this. Yeah, so it's just completely unsurprising. Like the fact you don't even have to own these games and can be doing this, it's so unsurprising. You know, people are like, oh, Activision, big corporation, bad. Like, yeah, I get it. But, I mean, legally, they're protecting their assets, essentially. So it's just so
every single
unsurprising.
Company that size would do.
Exactly. And that, but big corporations evil, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So.
I get if you're like disappointed with this and you think it sucks. And if you want to like tweet about that, like that's fine. Like, damn, Plutonium was fun. I really wish they hadn't done that. That's one thing. But if you're on Twitter, like, oh, Activision's evil. They shouldn't have done. I can't believe they did this. They shouldn't have done this, which is the vast majority of people, by the way. Yeah, which is insane to me. Then it's like, come on, man. You grow up. This is what a big company's going to do. Why open yourself to all this liability, even if you are getting money from it, for no reason? Like, and yeah, you're well within your rights. You know, I wish Activision didn't shut any of them down either. Not because I'm going to fucking play these games, but because it would be nice for other people to have the option. But I'm not at all one iota surprised that they did this, and I don't really even blame them. When you're a company that size, it's like, yeah, these things are going to
it's like from their point of view, you are using their assets, their items for yourself to essentially, I don't know, make money for yourself. That'd be like if some guy complaining on Twitter had his own small business too, and some other guy started stealing some of his images or some of his content, he'd be like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? That's my stuff. Yeah. But just because a big corporation does it, they're big and evil. But if something like that happened to you, no matter the size, you would be complaining. You're like, yo, what the fuck? You know? So it kind of goes in line with that.
It's fair. Yeah,
it's their shit. Yeah.
It sucks, but I mean, if you're surprised, especially, I mean, what are you doing? So I'm here to tell you, by the way, when Plutonium is served a cease and desist, I told you so, we told you so, and also don't be surprised, because it's not surprising at all. And as far as I'm concerned, Plutonium is, from Activision's perspective, Plutonium is 0% different from SM2 and X Labs. Mm-hmm. They're third-party games using Activision's IP to run a video game that people can play that they can play without giving Activision money.
Yeah.
From Activision's perspective, Plutonium is identical to SM2 and X Labs. So if they shut those two games down for whatever reason, they're also going to do it to Plutonium, because they are identical items as far as Activision is concerned.
Yeah, so it's like, you know, I can see like some of the outrage and being annoyed, but it's just, I mean, it's risky spending years developing some sort of game engine based on something that isn't yours, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's risky spending years doing this shit to maybe just be shut down like they did. So sucks for them that they wasted their time, sucks for the player base, but that's what happens. Get fucked, I guess.
Yeah, get fucked. Yeah, get shit on, outplayed, gapped, skill issue, etc.
Yeah,
but anyway,
gapped by Activision's legal team.
Yeah. So there's another little last thing here on this topic. There is some discourse, evidently. I haven't seen this, but Tanner has,
Ace
surrounding
thinks
this. Oh, really?
Let me see, try to find the tweet. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is an insane take. I will summarize it while Tanner looks for the tweet. Some people think that because Activision is shutting all these things down in such a narrow window, like all at once, that this means Call of Duty is thinking about, is developing, or is planning to develop some game in the future, an official COD game that is like an all-star COD. In other words, it'll be a COD game called Call of Duty Best Of Edition. Purportedly, this is going to be an Activision title, right? Call of Duty Greatest Hits.
And yeah, this is like the Iron Black Helicopters take. Yeah,
this is insane levels of conspiracy. They're shutting these things down so that they can corner the market on nostalgic Call of Duty fans and they're setting the stage for Activision to themselves release a title called Call of Duty Greatest Hits or something that features across all games and all dev studios only fan favorite maps and fan favorite guns in their own thing. And they're shutting these games down so that when they do release this game and sell it, they aren't like competing with Plutonium and X Labs or something.
Yeah.
Did you find the Ace tweet itself?
Yeah, so maybe it doesn't mean that. Ace also made a video about this, I think, but I didn't watch it. Let me see what his video is titled. Because I think he does have the theory that maybe they'll be releasing their own game, or there's some reason they're doing this. Let's see. Is Activision hiding something big as the title to his video, and it was another COD mod shut down. See, I didn't watch it, so I actually don't know what he says, but in this tweet, some guy, he used to be the owner of Carnage Clan, or one of the owners or something, he talks about like cease and desist. He says if they are doing this widespread action now, there's probably a reason, and that is most likely that those products would devalue something they are working on. So maybe something is coming from official sources that'll let us play the old games we love, maybe. And then he says some other shit. He says usually every action has a reason behind it, blah, blah. And so Ace responded to that, and he said, glad I'm not alone in this theory, which to me made me assume he's thinking like, oh, they're coming out with like some sort of, like best hits game that has guns from all sorts of different CODs and maps from all sorts of different CODs. So he didn't directly say that in the tweet. And again, I haven't watched his video. But yeah, if he agrees with that take whatsoever, that's absurd, if you ask me. They're not making that at all. They're not making a best of anything. That will not come out. And that is an insane theory and opinion to hold if you think that, in my opinion. I mean, that's just insane that you think Activision would make that. If anything, crazy. Maybe something to do with like COD Mobile, Warzone Mobile, because that uses old maps, old guns. Maybe something to do with that. They don't want it relating. I don't know. And the other theory I've had, which this guy also had, is that it could be something to do with the Microsoft acquisition. Like he says, a property being sold needs defined valuation, and this would be a part of it. I don't know. That's a theory a lot of people have as well, that it could be something to do with the Microsoft acquisition. Maybe the company would be worth more if those people playing had owned the game, but they don't. They're playing like a free-to-play mod of the game, so they're kind of saying the company would be valued at more. I don't know. But there's a lot of people that have that theory as well, that it's something to do with the Microsoft acquisition.
That theory might withstand scrutiny if Plutonium had 2 million monthly users, which it doesn't. The number of people playing all of these games is negligible.
Oh, I'm sure it's less. All three of them combined were I have no clue, but I would guess less than 1,000 concurrent at all times worldwide.
Actually, yeah. I have no stats on this either, but there's no way that it would be an amount of players that would change the valuation at all of a corporation as big as Activision in terms of the acquisitions. That's insane. Yeah. I guess the implication from those tweets you read is either that they think COD is thinking of making a greatest hits game, which is insane, or the implication is that they think that COD is going to start remastering these games. So like MW3 specifically remastered. And that's why they're shutting down these games. Again, if Call of Duty is going to release a greatest hits game or a Modern Warfare 3 remastered game, they will make almost exactly the same amount of money whether or not Plutonium, SM2, and X Labs exist or not. In fact, everyone who plays Plutonium would buy the MW3 remastered game, and they would probably prefer it.
Yeah.
It would have a healthier player base. It would be on a new engine, but it would be the shit they love, whatever. So they wouldn't shut them down in preparation for that because there would be no reason to. There are reasons for them to shut down those games, which we just talked about, but one of them is not because they would make more money for when they release their own greatest hits or remastered game, because they wouldn't. They would make the exact same amount of money. The player bases for these games, again, isn't big enough for them to care and make a difference, number one. And number two, even if it was, those players are going to be buying the greatest hits or remastered games anyway. So that is not the reason. If you think MW3 Remastered is going to be made by Activision. That might actually be true. They did make the MW2 campaign remastered. I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility they would do a multiplayer remastered or a total package remastered, where they make MW3 remastered with the campaign and with the multiplayer. Maybe that is coming. But this happening, these games being shut down, is not evidence for that at all. So whether or not MW3 Remastered is going to release, if you think that for a number of reasons, cool, this should not be one of the reasons. That's the point.
Yeah.
So these are just way too small and inconsequential.
I am surprised. Plutonium actually has a much higher player base than I would imagine it. So between all of their different little mods they have, which looks like there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I guess 7 of them.
Okay.
Right now, their concurrent players over those 7 mods is 3,400 players. And that's about what they like average. So that's more than I thought
you were
it would
going to say like 50,000.
No. So 3,400. 3,400
yeah.
players. 3,400 players, yep. So not that many. More than I thought, but not that many, yeah.
Yeah, nothing. As far, that's about what we both thought, though. A couple, like 4 digits. Yeah, that was my thought.
Yeah.
Nothing as far as Activision is concerned. It's not like they would shut it down only because they really want those 3,400 people to give them the money instead on their next big budget, $2 billion development cost video game. Come on. What do you... Yeah.
Chris's theory, that may be something there. They're probably going to add all of those old games to the Microsoft Game Pass. So yeah, it could have something to do with the acquisition if they essentially maybe remove them from Steam or add them to Game Pass. If they do something like that for the Microsoft acquisition, then those old games would probably be updated in some way with server-side updates and stuff like that. So maybe it's not just full of people hacking your IP address and your personal info. Could be something like that too, yeah.
Yeah.
It's far more likely that any of this does have something to do with the Microsoft acquisition, much more than it's possible that they're doing this because they're releasing some best of Call of Duty type video game. That's just not even in the realm of possibilities, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe it's something to do with the acquisition.
It could be, it could be Chris's theory that they want to add it to Microsoft wants to add it to Game Pass, and they told Activision that. So and then Microsoft maybe was like, hey, we want you guys to shut all these games down because we don't want any competitors when we do that. That I totally believe. Or Activision's been meaning to do this for a while, or some new person who's in charge of IP protection got hired and was like, oh, we should do this. Or they've been meaning to do it for a while and they're just now getting around to it. But the fact that it's all happening at the same time is what you would expect. Because whether it's because someone new is there, or there's a reason like the Microsoft Game Pass, or it's just been something they've been meaning to do, any of those three, or anything else, take your pick. If they're going to shut down SM2, they're going to also shut down everything like it around the same time, because that's like the project that team is doing at the time. So they're probably like their lawyers or whatever, or the IP manager is like, all right, yeah, this week we're going to shut down all the third-party games for whatever reason. We're not going to like shut down SM2 and then like 2 years from now shut down X Labs, which is the same fucking thing. Doesn't make any sense. Of course they're going to do it all at the same time once they do it. So the fact that it's all happening at once is exactly what I would expect. I would be more surprised if they shut down only SM2 and not X Labs. That would be really weird, because it would be like, wait, why? What? What's different about that? But of course it's all going to happen at the same time if it's going to happen. So yeah. So anyway, if you think this means there's going to be a greatest hits Call of Duty game, you're out of your fucking mind. I do not ever see that happening.
Yeah.
It'd be cool, I guess, but I don't think they're going to do it.
Yeah. No, yeah, I don't think
especially because a greatest hits COD would have to comprise multiple different dev teams. You could maybe argue they're going to make like an iDub greatest hits, Sledgehammer greatest hits, and Treyarch greatest hits game, where it's like all the best Treyarch maps and guns or whatever. Like maybe, I mean, they did make MW2 campaign remastered. So I maybe could see something like that. But even then, I think I don't know. I just feel like they would want to focus all their efforts more on new titles that are going to get them way more money than bother with shit like that. I don't see it happening. But anyway, think what you will. Are we doing this next section? Or are we fucking done?
We'll just cover it real quick.
Okay.
Just pretty funny. So, the same time Warzone Ranked finally released after years of people waiting, Apex released their new rank system, which I was thinking, uh-oh, this may be kind of bad for Warzone. There's a new Apex rank system coming out. Smile, their rank system just so happened to release like a day before Warzone Ranked dropped for the first time, and it has gotten nothing but miserable reviews from the player base. Apex Ranked is more hated than ever, and I just want to point out that's great for Call of Duty. So there's been some things. We have an image here. I don't know who originally tweeted this. I don't remember now. I don't think I linked it. But basically, it is an image of the rank distribution in Apex. And at the time when this screenshot was taken, there were literally more players in the master rank of Apex Legends, which is the second highest rank possible. So it'd essentially be like being iridescent in Call of Duty.
Correct.
There are more players in masters of Apex rank than any other rank in the whole entire system. So that'd be like you logging on to play Warzone ranked, and the vast majority of people are in iridescent, which is wild and insane.
More iridescent players than gold players.
More iridescent players than bronze players even. The starting rank, That is how fucked up their system is right now. So there's been a lot of chat around that. There's been numerous screenshots of some guy, I guess, hitting like the top 250 or whatever it's called in Apex, which is
number
called
152 in the world.
Which is called Predator, something like that.
Apex Predator, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like people were getting to those top ranks without a single kill. That is a real thing. From just playing and not dying, they would get to the highest rank you can get in Apex. And so one of these little articles that I linked here from something called ESI, one of the big problems that players have identified with the Apex new rank system is the new entry cost requirement. So prior in Apex Ranked, it had a scaling entry like Warzone is right now. So the higher rank you were, the more points it required to buy in. If you did poorly, you lost rank. If you did well, you gained. Now it costs a flat 35 ladder points regardless of your rank, and if you survive till at least the top 10, you're guaranteed to gain points. So that'd be like if these top 250 players in Warzone, their entry fee was 35 SR. All they would have to do is do nothing, win a match, and they gained 100 SR from winning, so they're up SR. So you're just guaranteed to gain points for making it to the top 10, which Apex, how many teams are there in Apex Rank? 30? I don't even know it's not very many.
And importantly about Apex, it would be like if the top 250 players in Warzone all had only a 35 SR deployment fee, but also imagine in Warzone, there was a way for you to land, buy 100 gas masks, and sit in the gas from the beginning of the game until the final circle. Because that's what you can do in Apex Legends. The gas kills you way slower in Apex, and the damage it does depends on how late it is into the match. So like the first circle, it does very little damage. It's very easy to heal through it. And there are also things called heat shields, I guess, which is like a portable decontamination station, but they either work longer or better or both. I don't know. But for a litany of reasons, you can quite literally sit in the gas in Apex. I don't know what it's called in Apex, but it's effectively the gas. Virtually in perpetuity if you just like get the right items first. And there's a screenshot of this one guy, Sweet Dreams on Twitter. And here's what he says. Ranked mode in play Apex. This picture is not photoshopped. Increase the entry fee for higher levels or we're sitting in trees. And it's a screenshot of him showing his rank, number 152 in the entire world in Apex Legends for the entire ranked season of season 17, which is the current season, with a grand total of 0 kills in a BR. He's top 250 with 0 kills in a wildly
Zero
popular...
damage.
That's what I was leading up to. 0 kills, top 250 in a wildly popular ranked battle royale mode, and also literally 0 total damage to other players. So it's possible in Apex to just land, avoid people, never do a single point of damage, and still earn so much rating that you can get to top 250. And this guy did this, by the way, over only 50 total games, which is kind of crazy. That's not that many games.
5 wins. So 0 damage, 5 wins, and he's ranked 152 in the world. Sick ranked play, man. How do they fuck it up that bad?
That's insane. Yeah. So before, by the way, Apex entry fee worked exactly the same way as Warzone's does now, which is that the higher your rank is, the more deficit you start at when you queue into a match. So if you were like close to a Apex Predator, or if you are Apex Predator, you would have to pay way more rating to join a lobby than if you were like bronze shitter or whatever. It worked exactly the same way as ranked Warzone. And for whatever reason, they just said, nah, we'll just make it a flat fee. And then of course people were like, oh, okay. Well, if I get top 10, I get more than 35, which is going to be my deployment fee no matter what. So if I can just survive in the gas until top 10, I can get positive rating infinitely. And it's also evidently pretty easy to do that. So that's why you have more players at the second highest rating possible in the ranked system than any other ranking, which is obviously not how a ranked system is intended to work. My first question is, of course, how the fuck did the devs overlook that detail? That is insane that this ever happened. And this is the importance of having either devs who play the fucking game or consulting players who play the fucking game before you make decisions.
Yep.
Yikes. I can't believe this is possible. I can't believe it's possible you overlook something so obvious.
I was trying to find some other tweets that people said.
I mean, ruined their ranked mode. So a bunch of people now, by the way, are no longer playing Apex for this season because it's fucking dumb. Why am I going to go like shoot kids when I can just sit in a tree with a heat shield and get top 250?
Oh, well,
then of course I'm not going to. So then everyone just goes sits in trees and then everyone's bored. It's really dumb.
So you get like XP just for time survived in Apex. I don't know if that carries over to like actually ranking up and getting like SR, but you literally get XP just from surviving. So I'm looking at this one screenshot. This person is like, I'm actually impressed with how phenomenally terrible the new Apex rank system is. I literally did nothing the entire match, and they earned 239 ladder points. I don't know if that's a lot, but yeah, 0 kills, 0 damage done. They got 3rd place. They got 88 SR, and then ladder points earned 239. Yeah. So it's, I mean, I haven't seen one single good thing about this. So I would guess this will probably be almost entirely reverted for the next season, I would imagine, or there will be some major changes done to this.
Are they stuck with it for a whole season?
Well, I would guess if it's a whole SR rating type system, I don't think they can swap it mid-season. I mean, I guess they could, but it would like reset the rank. I don't know. I think it's just a wash until the next rank season. Which, what are Apex ranks? 45 days, 60 days? Question. They're not super long.
That's a pretty long time for your game to just be completely unplayable, though. I would declare this a state of emergency if I was Respawn, and I would say, hey, oops, we're ending Season 17 now.
Yeah.
40 days early, and we're entering Ranked Season 18. Get fucked. And no one's rating counts for anything. Season 17 just didn't happen. Do like a Tiananmen Square kind of deal, where China just pretends it didn't happen and just erases all the evidence of it. That's what Respawn needs to do with Ranked Season 17.
Yeah.
Immediately end it, because you're just bleeding players. You're bleeding players.
I mean, I'm sure they still have a lot of players. It's probably still fine, but people are hating it.
Well, a lot Objectively, maybe a lot relative to what they used to. Probably not. I certainly wouldn't be playing this. And like another point I was going to make is how fucking lucky, dude, did Bobby Kotick write a check to Respawn Development Studios?
It's
because
possible.
This was literally Apex ruins their ranked BR mode like a day or two before Ranked Warzone launches with a good even ranked system. That's a pretty crazy coincidence. I do think it's a coincidence, by the way. I don't think there's some fucking, whatever, behind the scenes deals or whatever. But that's a real wild, lucky coincidence for Activision. Because, for example, Nicholas J. Merckx, enemy of the pod.
Is he an
No,
enemy?
not really.
He's a person.
He's indifferent of the pod, yeah. Acquaintance of the pod, some guy of the pod.
Yeah.
Has been like streaming Warzone 2, and he used to just be like an only Apex streamer for quite a while. He was originally like doesn't matter. And I have no doubt he would be back on Apex by now if it weren't for this rank ruining. And he pulls like tens of thousands of viewers, which translates to a lot of extra people playing the game of Warzone.
Yeah.
And by extension, probably not playing Apex. So boy, did Activision get lucky. And how many other Apex streamers were like, oh, my ranked BR is ruined and a new ranked BR just released the next day. I'll try it. Sure. How many other like slightly smaller streamers did that? I don't know. But boy, did Activision fucking luck out. That is crazy to me.
Yeah.
But I just can't believe Apex ruined their game that much.
Yeah, so I'm sure it'll be back
do.
next season. But yeah, I think this season's just going to be slower for their ranked mode. So yeah, great timing for Warzone ranked to release, though, actually.
Yeah. And luckily, like you said, Apex has such a good track record, and they're so established, and they probably have a lot of good faith with their community by now, that even if people are like not playing at all this season, they will definitely be back for ranked season 18.
Yeah, for sure.
If
they fix the issues, yeah.
And this is where it's nice to have a dev studio that has fostered good faith with their community, because you can afford big oopsies like this to happen. Whereas with Warzone, exact opposite with their community. There's no good faith between Activision and its consumers. And that's why so many people played Warzone 2 when it launched for a week, maybe two if they were fucking brave. And then they said, fuck it, I'm done. And they won't be coming back. Because unlike Apex, the average Warzone player has no belief, has no faith
zero.
in Activision.
Yeah, doesn't exist.
And if Activision fucks up, people aren't coming back once you fix it, if you fix it. But with Apex, they've engendered so much goodwill that they can afford to get away with a monumental, colossal failure like this.
Yeah.
In a way that Activision is not able to get away with. And wouldn't it be nice if we could like trust Activision? And when Warzone 2 came out, we're like, oh my God, this is terrible. We'll be back in a month though. Because we have faith you guys are going to fix the game.
Yeah.
Who said that? Not a fucking soul. Not a soul on earth said that. They said, oh, this game's fucking terrible. See ya, uninstalled, and I'm not trying it again. No matter what you do, even if you do fix the game.
Yeah.
No one's coming back because you have engendered no goodwill toward your community since Warzone 1, maybe even before that. So, there is such a thing as like game loyalty, brand loyalty, company loyalty. And there are certain products, certain brands, we could probably all think of some if we tried hard enough, to where they have such a stellar reputation and history that if and when they do make a mistake or slip up, they've, again, fostered enough goodwill with their customer base that it's okay.
It sounds
it's
like the
a
Dropshot
hiccup.
LLC, except we don't make
Exactly
mistakes,
like the
so
Dropshot
it's not like
LLC.
us, yeah. We've
The
never said
difference
anything
is
wrong.
we don't make mistakes. There
We're
are
perfect.
no hiccups.
Yeah, we're
and
perfect. We have
are, in fact,
Orion. We
perfect.
simply load up a Sheikah. We win. We get off for the day. We don't lose. We have Orion.
That's
all
correct.
Of it. Yeah, we get bitches. All of it.
Yeah, that's correct. But yeah, so it's not quite like us. But if we did make a mistake by some cosmic mishap.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's possible though. Yeah.
I don't know if it's logically possible.
Yeah.
Like, can there be a triangle with 4 sides?
Probably not. Yeah, I don't think.
Probably not.
I don't know. I don't know, man.
And likewise, can the Dropshot make a mistake or have a hiccup? Probably not.
What a stupid fucking thing to say. Yeah.
Exactly. But if we did, we've engendered enough goodwill to where people would be like, would come back, you know? And there are other brands I could probably think of where that's happened. Where they like had like a really good company, had a great reputation, they fucked up.
Bud Light?
And then they, not Bud Light. I actually thought of Bud Light and I was like, oh, it's not them though. But you know how there's some brands that are like really, like everyone who buys their products you fucking hate? Here's a good one, Yeti. Like
You're
people.
a Yeti hater?
No, I'm not. Actually, I quite like Yeti products. I have them myself, but they're kind of like Rick and Morty fans where they just won't shut the fuck up about it. Or, oh my God, Traeger's. That's like another one.
Traeger does have a very annoying fan base, yeah.
Yeah, like if you own a Traeger, it's like everyone you know knows that because you have to tell people, you know? So like if Traeger, I don't know, released a fucking miserable pellet grill, Traeger fans would be like, I'll skip this generation, but I'm definitely buying the next generation after this one. Whereas Bud Light was the opposite. Evidently, they had fans, a customer base, that they did not have goodwill with. So they made a marketing mistake, I guess, from their perspective. Maybe. I don't know what the numbers are. And there are a bunch of conservatives fucking seething, and they are not giving Bud Light another chance. Even if they made like a, you know, America's Awesome commercial or something, it wouldn't be enough. So, yeah. It's important to have a good reputation.
It's also important to stay humble.
Stay humble.